Oh, yeah, I didn't bond to the dongle, so bear with me. And now I'll try it again. Looks like I bonded to the dongle. And here we go. Is it all coming through right now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Excellent. So
I'll be right back, though. I have to go feed the dog, and we'll go ahead and get started. What's the topic of conversation today?
Well, my usual godless, anarcho-communist, transsexual, feminist veganism. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the regular fiction topic. Gotcha. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. Odd, you should think it's fiction. Even if the premises of the movements and ideas and such are false, the movements themselves still exist, much as the I don't know, he holds the premise of say Islam or Mormonism would be false, and movements and those are real. So okay, and we have here NeoCloud. He's thinking 1715, not 1517. But anyway. Oh, and what's happening here? Well, I really want to. Oh, welcome, Simon. Have you seen Intelligence Square debates at all? There's a
yeah, many.
There's a good one that
a few.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, there's a good one that came out recently. I'll give you the link as soon as my desktop or whatever stops lagging. Bear with me. And
all right.
Okay. That's awkward, of course, but anyway, there we go. The fact of the matter is, the world would be better off without religion, and that's relatively easily demonstrable. What do you say?
I'm just seeing which one it is.
I put the link in the side chat. Yeah.
Sure. Ah, AC Grayling.
Oh, you mean the debaters? Yes.
Yeah, and old Bucktooth. Old Bucktooth himself. Is that Walpole as well?
I haven't actually gotten through it, so, but I certainly agree with the premise.
Yeah, it is. David Walpole, Dinesh D'Souza. I'd be interested to watch that one.
Yeah. Dinesh D'Souza is always, well, he's nice because he helps you feel vindicated.
Yeah, I liked, I think it was it him? I think it was him, yeah. In one debate argued that his place of birth had no relevance to his religion. And then in the next debate he said, yeah, although I was born in India, I was born to a Christian family. You see what I'm saying there?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Well, I have I found a new supermarket. It's the Key Foods at is it 19 1904 in the Strand. I'm not sure, but
What?
well, here I have
Is this local to you,
very local.
Nadia?
Yeah, and Tuscan style lentil soup. So and
Cool.
soy milk, apparently with a great deal of vitamins. Sorry, vitamin D and calcium there. And vitamin B12 also.
Excellent. And what was the name of the shop nearby?
Key Foods. So
Key Foods.
yeah,
Great place to get soya.
Key, yeah, you know, it's a key
If you like soya, Key Foods is the place for you.
And quinoa, of course, but the real winner is a Spanish rice. It's got like insane amounts of iron and vitamin C. And it's just Spanish rice. Who thought?
Brought to you by Spain.
Yeah. Hey, let's
Quinoa.
what's this?
Is that just add water? Something?
Oh, there's a packet of something here. I don't know what it is.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know either.
It's the contents of a spice sack, apparently.
Ah.
Okay, I don't care. I'll just dump it all in at the same time. Yeah, throw the beans in right with it.
Have you sent a text to Art? A message to Art with the link?
Oh, not yet.
Just checking.
Can you handle that?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
All right. I'm apparently cooking or something. I'm shaking the can, trains you.
they call that cooking. Yes, they call that cooking.
Yeah, it is. I'm not exactly in high-end housing, so you also have to consider the kind of packaging so that you don't get attacked by pests. So, yeah, and hopefully this will not only help with veganism, but also weight loss. It seems to be much more nutrient dense and also vitamins. As if all that vitamin C weren't enough. Here we go. What's that? Oh, the spice sack. Yep, that needs a lot of work. I was at the dentist instead of the gym this morning, but well, I can always make it in tomorrow. It's Planet Fitness. If they're even a third of their membership showed up, they'd run out of space at their gyms. So.
He's not responding.
Yeah, he's probably getting drunk playing video games. That's what most of the people on here do anyway.
Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell with their preoccupations, it's kind of like, okay. Like, yeah, that's great. And then like, here, how the video game edition and who the hell is it? It's terrible. Okay, lentils and quinoa. Looks like I need to stir this a bit. Okay, I'll just try and get everything below water, so to speak. Oh, and Frederick Factelmoss, you probably should kind of work up more of a profile. I've checked you out before, and not much really comes up. So let's see. 2.5 times 25. That's 62.5 carbs and grams of carbs, and then 62.5 and 106 is 168. So and a half. That all divided by 6, of course, is well, basically, I think 27. Oh, okay. And 48 atop 168 and a half. So that's 216 and a half. Oh, well, that's easy. That's 36. So anyway, it should probably take like 18 or 20. Nope. A little bit of bad news for the dentist. Apparently, they don't do any kind of enamel restoration or filling. That's the thing in itself. So, uh, where my enamel wore away or dissolved was not getting repaired.
Still no answer from Art.
Mm.
I did see him. He was in.
He was what? Did I lose connection or? Okay, Shining for Crisis, winning something. BLM. What are BLM? Hmm. Ken Jones and G-Man were in New York over the weekend. You can get a hold of me at all.
No, I thought you guys were going to meet up. That was what I heard them say.
Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, Von Helton just posted.
Get him in. Send him an invite. Haven't seen him for donkeys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mm.
Yeah, you know, G-Man's like that though, isn't he?
Oh, whoops. It's on the intelligence squared debate. Ah, how was it? Copy it.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. I was going to do that.
Mm.
There it is.
Oh, I've been getting into Judith Butler. The way she writes reminds me of the way I guess used to talk before I made a rather conscious effort to simplify my uh, speech or become more comprehensible.
Uh-huh.
It's like, hey, if there are people who write and talk like that, can I just like go find them somewhere instead of trying to become more accessible, so to speak? I don't know.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
It's okay. We're live. I won't talk about people. I'm like,
What's all right?
yeah.
Well, you think
Good luck.
there's a I guess a premise of all this, which is there are all these I don't know I call them ideological or similar sorts of positions and all that, but in some respects there are aspects of practice or and praxis, so that to the extent one has well a translation of theory into practice and can be measurable, and measurement can be used as guidance to improve one's performance, hasn't right? And oh, welcome again, Rebecca. Good to have you on. I
Hiya.
have good news. I found a source for vegan food. I've got soy milk and
Woo.
lentil soup with and tons of iron and some kind of Spanish rice with incredible amounts of iron and vitamin C and I guess an iron and vitamin C quinoa fare too.
Oh, good. That's a superfood.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Christian, Commando, and Simon.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, I changed my
What have you?
flag. I changed my
Yeah. What
flag
have you
thing
done?
to the
What have
Kenyan
you done
one,
to it?
not the Kenyan one, Lebanon one.
Oh,
Lebanon.
what happened?
Yeah, it doesn't come up though. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Looks like somebody scribbled all over your picture.
But it doesn't come up on the bottom. Does it? Does it look? Does it look like the? It looks like still France to me.
No, Lebanon.
It has changed. Okay, it
Well,
has.
I can see a tree.
There's a little tree in the middle. Yeah, because that bomb
Yeah.
went off like the day before. So
Yeah, looks like
it'll be Kenya
Beirut just
next.
yeah.
Is there a big one in Lebanon happened today or something?
No, it was the day before the Paris one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but nobody heard about it.
No.
So yeah, it's a bit crap. And then there's Kenya.
Burundi's capital seems to have a little bit going on. I haven't seen Kenya's in the headlines yet, though.
Yeah, what's happening in Beirut?
Bombings.
Oh yeah, it was Lebanon. Yeah, that was the one that went off the day before, wasn't it?
It looks like Al Jazeera has pretty good global headlines, or at least easily accessible format.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I guess it's funny how we were talking about you know, how you can morally judge or how you can judge how moral a religion is when you're outside of it, and yeah, it's difficult. It's hard though. I mean, because there are so many peaceful Christians and Muslims. You know, it's just like it's when people sort of take things really literally. It's when it all goes awry.
Awry. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I agree. It's nonsense. It's bloody nonsense.
It is. I mean,
well, I just had an Intelligence Square debate with who did you say was in there? Dinesh D'Souza and
D'Souza. David Warple.
Yeah. So
AC Grayling.
AC Grayling, that's what I was
Michael.
Yeah.
Michael Shermer, maybe.
Yeah, it was interesting. Because of course, the topic was, would the world be a better place without religion?
Yeah. I mean, the question is really like, you know, something that asks you to completely get rid of any other moral compass apart from what it's saying means that you must get rid of your superego. You must get rid of all external sources of judging right from wrong and just believe this one thing. And I think that's really dangerous. As soon as you stop living in the actual present, in the here and now, that's what's dangerous. Like if those killers, those people who shot all those people, I mean, what an awful thing to do. What an awful thing to do. How could you stand there? Like in reality, if you live in the absolute present moment, if you're not like a psychopath, how can you stand there and hurt those people? It's just, you know, I might be a real softie, but it's just completely beyond my comprehension. Absolutely, and to read, it's just no, it's too much. And it's the same with anything, you know, like even any kind of hatred. Maybe I'm just too soft. I just don't. It's really upsetting.
It's different for anti-capitalism. Sorry.
Different for anti-capitalism. Yeah. Yeah. It's just
I don't know, you girls. What are we going to do with you?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing about, like you're saying, if you put, if you consider something more moral than humanity, or something worth being more moral than humanity, then I think you've got a standard which you can't ever live up to. And to expect it in others is only going to show bigotry wherever you have it. That's the point. It just keeps pointing out. Oh, look, you're a bigot. Oh, look, you're a bigot. I mean, it just keeps pointing it out every time you open your mouth and go, Jesus Christ loves the world. Well, only some of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting how people are so willing to trade their their immediate moral presence for the chance of an afterlife.
Yeah.
Hello, love.
Yeah, I agree.
I keep hearing so many echoes of Mikhail Bakunin's insights into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Mikhail Bakunin's God in the State. Well, I mean, it's a quote from it's like on my live meme here. So, what's up next? Oh, sorry.
I had to. Sorry, lovely. I had to dip out of last night's chat thing. It just got too obnoxious. I think you know, when people just get like really horrible, I just leave because it's too much.
Mm-hmm. Who was it?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Michael Fong. Yeah.
Oh, really, Michael?
It was so abusive. It was horrible.
Right. Was he making a joke or was he just being drunk?
Well, I think that yeah, it would. I really it makes me struggle when they're being so. It's just the way they talk is so violent against women and against, you know, and it's just yeah. I don't even want to think about it. It's
Right.
just horrible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been finding the casual racism a bit much to deal with recently.
Yeah, that's hard too. It's almost. I mean, it's it's always the way. I think when you're kind of you know, if you are sort of a bit more versed in feminism, that things become quite intolerable.
How do you mean? Because I'm immersed in feminism.
Just because you're more sensitive to it, you're more sensitive to you know, racism,
Right.
sexism, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm quite aware of sexism. Being a man, obviously, I would be.
Do you love the way that there are certain men that just don't like it when I talk?
Really?
Yeah, they hate it.
Well, yeah, okay, but that, you know, it's
I guess we are. It's very difficult to debate things, but because I am a woman, it's very
yeah,
hard. It's very hard for them to listen to what I
yeah.
say, and it's hard to get a word in edgeways as well. I mean, DPR was really sweet the other night when he really put me on the spot. But he was like, I think Rebecca wants to say something, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Better make it good.
I know,
I've
there's
heard
no pressure.
I've heard this with Deirdre. Okay, so we're all in a room. Okay, we're all, you know, going at it hammer and tong and everything, and then she'll make a point, and then everyone will go, no, 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 da, da. And then the conversation will go on a couple of minutes until a guy says the same point that she's just said, and everyone goes, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
had that as
unbelievable. I mean, I've heard
well.
it 3 times. 3 times I've heard it with Deirdre. Where literally she's gone, oh, I said that 2 minutes ago. And I've gone, yeah, yeah, you did actually, you know. As suddenly the room enters agreement.
I think
It's
men don't realize
unbelievable.
that they're doing it. I mean, there is partly a psychological reason for it. In that.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. I just think it's that we don't hear your voices. I don't know, was I interrupting? I didn't hear.
No, you're very sweet, Simon. You would listen very carefully.
Maybe. I might do. Depends. Depends what's for dinner.
It does actually, to an extent, it does work the other way around as well.
It does, yes. I can assure you of this.
Sometimes it just goes on to a low rumble. Do you know what I mean? It's like, was that thunder?
Well, I've been sitting there going, someone said to me, oh, you know, I don't know what to do about my son. It's a difficult situation. Dot. And I've gone, oh, well, you need to do this and that and that and that. He's like this and that's what's going on. And then a month later, I get, oh, I don't know what to do about my son. Well, what you need to do is X, Y, and Z. All right, all right. We're now a year later, and she still hasn't done the thing that I said a year ago to deal with the problem. She just can't hear it.
Yeah,
Cannot
but
hear it.
there's a difference between asking for emotional support. See, that's what she's asking
Aha.
for. She's not
Oh, is it?
asking. She's
Is
not
it?
asking for a solution. She's wanting you to listen to her distress.
Well, this is a good subject. Okay, so why is she asking for a solution and yet at the same time not saying, actually, I want emotional support?
Because that is asking for emotional support. When she says to you, "Oh, I don't know what to do about my son," blah blah blah, it means actually you can't do anything about it, but she'd like you to listen to her.
Right.
So what you
Okay.
say in response is, "I'm so sorry, that sounds really difficult for you."
Yeah. Okay. I'll try and remember that next time. The next time she says to me, I really want you to listen to me, I'll say, okay, what needs sorting out then?
Don't you dare! And men are very good at this. Nadia had this from Baltazar the other day. He was insistent on giving her solutions, and this happens quite a lot. He's like
Yeah, I've
insisting
come
on
across it a
giving
lot.
Nadia solutions all the time, and it's like, no. And he
Oh,
just
that's
wouldn't
quite
get
funny.
it. He just wouldn't get it at all.
No, sad.
I'll be honest, even though you've told me, I still don't get it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. That's the thing, you know. Do you know what I mean? If I want a bit of emotional support, I go to a friend and go, God, you know, it's been a tough day, man. I've had a tough time. It's feeling a bit, whoa, you know what I mean? And they'll go, oh, mate, it's right, you're all right. It's
That's
good, you
it.
know. And they put an arm around me. Go, it's all right. Come on, we'll go down the fucking pub, innit? Come on.
That's that.
And that feels great. I get a
Men
lot of
always want to
support.
do something. They always want their solution to things is doing stuff like build a fence, have a cigarette, go and get drunk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, those are three very good solutions you mentioned. I'm just going to write them down, actually.
You write them down.
Getting drunk and smoking, I think I can sign on board with too. Anyway.
Oh, come on. Building a fence. Oh, come on now. Yeah, that's got to be top of the list right there. Because let's face it, fences sort a lot of stuff out.
I only got that one because it's what my dad did when he found out that my brother had cancer. Was he went round his house and he built a fence. Bless him.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart, my
That's,
dad.
it's nothing to do, actually.
Does
I
that
wouldn't mind
explain
a
Donald
fence being
Trump?
built for me.
That explains Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Why? What's happening with Donald Trump?
He wants to build a fence all the way
Oh,
around the border with Mexico.
He does.
Mexico, yeah? That's the fence you're referring to.
Mhm.
Well, a good practical solution. I like the guy more now.
It is. He's building stuff because of emotional issues.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, gotta do something.
Yeah, well, yeah. And also, of course, it employs a lot of Mexicans.
There you go. I'm sure the workforce hired to build it would be entirely illegal Mexican immigrants.
Yeah, I mean that's what Christian does. Christian builds stuff, so he knows that's the man thing to do. You see, you build stuff, you make stuff.
He does. He's very much a builder of things, of wood. Very much
Yeah,
a wood kind of builder. He's good with wood.
Mm.
Good with wood. And
I
a
like
lot
to.
of men like their wood.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good solid stuff, isn't it?
Oh,
Well, temporarily.
well, we do do something analogous now and then. With I guess knitting and sewing, and of course crochet. Right?
Commando, what's your preference to build when you have to build something for social support or emotional support? What kind of things do you like to build?
Um, I don't know. I just get the Masons to do it.
You have to go down the lodge.
Yep.
Do you build tanks, Commando?
I don't know.
What about painting soldiers?
This isn't mine. I just found it on Google because it was pretty cool. So.
I used to paint figurines.
Yeah, that's the really weird thing about guys. Okay, like they say to girls, right, that playing with dolls and everything is like, oh, all of this, and then they have these little metal dolls and they paint their little faces on them.
Well, yeah, obviously, because what would be the point going to war with a very, non-paint? You have to have a very painted, you have to be aggressively painted. Otherwise, it's just no point.
And then they take their little metal dollies, soldiers, and they show their friends. It's so cute. But then they do war with them and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And weirdly enough, right, when I'm down the pub and I'm chatting someone up and I tell them about this amazing hobby that I've got of painting these figurines, and it's like they switch off.
Really?
It's incredible. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Well, when you talk to women about painting your dolls?
My soldiers, they're not dolls.
Sorry, of course.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the difference, isn't it?
Go bigger. Go bigger. I was only asking for emotional support, and they wanted to fucking sort out the problem. They told me to.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh yeah, I'm MGTOW, by the way.
Oh dear. Yeah. No, that's the difference, is that they kind of act out violence with them, don't they? This kind of repetition of violence and stuff. It's kind of weird.
Well, women do that as well, though, don't they?
What, acting out violence?
Well, it's more acting out social exclusion, which is a type of violence, isn't it?
Acting out social exclusion, in what way?
Well, with dolls and stuff, they play with their dolls, don't they? It's a way of acting out social situations.
Yeah, not always exclusion.
Recognizing how to exclude other women because they don't have, I don't know, the right colour hair, or I don't know.
There's a lot of role play, but sometimes it's just about being mum, really.
Right, and bossing about the dad, presumably.
Yeah, so you tidy your house and you boss your dad around, and we used to make rooms, and we'd have the kitchen and we'd have the lounge.
Huh? Right. Who wasn't allowed in the kitchen?
I didn't get, no, there was no he wasn't allowed. We just used to kind of flow, really. I don't know, there wasn't any kind of...
I used to play dolls with girls when I was a kid. I remember the exclusion.
Oh, did you have exclusion in yours? We didn't have exclusion.
Yeah, well, I had to, because, obviously I was a guy, so I couldn't, actually play in the inner circle of the doll world. I had to be just a participating member.
Is that because
outside.
Is that because you wanted to kill the dolls with your gun? With your
No,
little soldier?
not at all.
Are you sure?
No. I married the girl. I married her. My doll married the other doll.
Oh,
yeah.
That's lovely.
She was my girlfriend.
Are you still with her?
No. Funnily enough, I don't think I ever went out with her because I was only 7.
Oh, okay. That's a bit too young.
And she was a bit above my level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very important then, isn't it, back when you're that age, that...
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pretty soon after that, I realised, Um, Soldiers was a much better game.
Yeah, I never really understood it because like I never what is this thing like these they, I never understood it. There was like soldiers and these boys would like um sort of make up this stuff and I don't know, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough thing. It's all about deployment and tactics.
Oh,
So,
I
you know,
see.
you're looking for terrain advantages. You know, maybe maybe a curb or something that you can utilize, or a rockery. Very good place for troops, a rockery.
I see. But there's no like backstory to anything. It's just like
Backstory. Backstory. No.
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 So I had this
Well, I
friend.
mean, yeah, there's a backstory. Yeah, I mean, in the sense of, you know, one person's a goodie and one person's a baddie.
Yeah, I had this friend called Christian once when I was in junior school. I went to see him, and I got friendly with him because he was really bullied one day, and I felt really sorry for him. So, you know, and then he was like, "Oh, Christian really wants you to come round." So I'm like, "Okay." So I went round and saw him, and yeah, he got the toy soldiers out, and I'm just like, so I just sat and watched him.
Yeah. Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah,
It's not, you know,
I was a bit,
actually, that's more of a friend, really, isn't it?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's someone who's not actually going to spoil your soldiers' setup by moving
No,
them around themselves, so you can do everything yourself, and then just turn around
what?
occasionally and go. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Also, one of the main things about playing, you know, soldiers is you get to go pew pew a lot.
Oh yeah, all of that. What was all that about? What is all that
Well,
about?
that is it. That's the fun of the
That's
game, right
exactly
there.
it. I remember
Right
doing
there
that.
is
I was thinking
exactly
of
why
feeling a
you
little bit
do it.
embarrassed. I was a little bit.
You're embarrassed. I just did it when I'm 50 years old just now.
Are you 50?
Yes, I'm
Oh
really
no,
old.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
I'm so relieved
And
that
if you
someone's
want to make
older than
if you
I
want to
am.
make 50, and if you want to make 50, I'd calm down a little bit there.
Why?
Aren't I like a few months older or something like that?
Yeah,
Or is it vice versa?
I don't know.
Hey?
Me and Nadia, we're the same age.
Oh, are you really?
Mhm.
What, you're both 21? Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's 55?
I look 40,
Bit,
so.
bit less.
Nadia, you're gonna slap him or should I? And you should never try and guess a lady's age. Just
Actually, no, what you could do is you could probably use your free bus pass to get over to slap me.
oh, stop it. Just,
Yeah.
just.
Well,
Oh, Simon, I used to like you.
Yeah, that was your first mistake.
Wasn't it just? I fell for your high fidelity microphone. That was it. All downhill from there.
Yeah, it's often the way.
Why? No, no, don't answer that.
I'm not.
yeah. I don't think I got to do any of that stuff as a kid.
Right.
So, did Christian Hillbilly sort of say a quick hello at some point? He must have done.
I haven't heard the usual. What
Yeah.
what would be his? What do you call them?
He gave his greetings before you got here and then went idle.
Did he do his usual proselytizing? Is that the right word?
No. I was searching for the word and I still can't find it. pontific, what do you call it when somebody has a catchphrase that they say?
A refrain?
Yeah, that's a better word. Refrain.
So what is his refrain?
Cliche?
It's a great day. Jesus did it. Yeehaw. Something like that. I'm
Oh, I
paraphrasing.
see. Oh, bless him. See?
Hmm.
He's just sweet. It's just like he just wants to be happy.
He just wants an imaginary friend.
Well, actually, scientifically, gratitude is a good thing and it makes you feel better and happier inside yourself.
Gratitude, did you say?
Gratitude, so yeah. So just saying or thinking, I'm really thankful that I've had this little giggle with Simon and Nadia this evening.
Right.
Makes you feel better.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
Yeah, I am a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, those tactics don't work on me. Just to let you know.
Why, hang on,
Nicely
why
true,
do you
that's my love.
think, why
That's
do you
all right.
think that I'm using tactics on you? I'm not.
'Cause you're a woman?
I don't understand what you mean.
Yep, that's exactly the response I would expect.
Oh dear.
Oh, yes, thank you for the laugh. It's good. It's good stuff. Endorphins, right?
Yeah.
Better than shark fins, that's what I say.
I don't know whether laughing is endorphin. Actually, I wonder if it's dopamine.
Oh, God, you're so...
It is
just because you're
dopamine.
clever.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, yeah, I knew that.
Laughter releases the neurotransmitter dopamine.
Dopamine, okay.
Yeah, love a good bit of
Did I
dopamine.
say endorphins?
You said endorphins.
I did, okay. So
Endorphins.
what's the one that reinforces baby mother attraction?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You release oxytocin when you feel warmth for someone, like emotional warmth for somebody.
Rightio.
So
I
like
wonder what the
if you
smell was.
No, not like that. That's farting, Simon.
That's what I do. Like when I'm around women I like, I can't help it.
That's not oxytocin. That's chemical warfare.
Yeah, so yes. Yeah.
Yeah, oxytocin's good, and it reduces stress and anxiety. So if you're feeling like really hatred towards a certain group, you can actually reduce your stress and anxiety towards them by releasing your own internal oxytocin by thinking of them in a kind way. So
Really? Damn.
yeah.
Wow. This is really impressive. He has declared the gynecological singularity has happened.
Eh?
Wow. Whatever it
I
is,
kid you
it
not.
sounds like it's worth paying some money for.
What's a gynecological singularity?
I think it's kind of tristing or something.
Huh? Have you got a link?
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Is this Deepak Chopra you're talking about? Because it sounds like somebody just putting a
Course.
scientific word with something else and going, yeah, that's great. So let's put quantum before it. Let's do the test. Let's do the quantum test, right? Does it make any less sense if you put quantum before it?
Quantum gynecology.
Yeah. That's because, hard-ons come in discrete units.
Ooh!
Well, here I'll bear with me while I dig this up. We're
Zombifying vagina poo.
Oh, God, what?
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
just...
Oh, whoops.
Oh.
I lost it, but oh, I'll get it back. Hang on. I'm trying to find a way to get to the post. So
How many haters do you have, Nadia, do you think?
I don't know, maybe like a few 100,000.
Is there a way of quantifying your haters?
Yeah.
Have you got a telephone book?
I'm not far from it.
No, come on now.
Okay, here we go. View post. Okay.
Well, look at
Zombifying
that.
Vagina Goo Part 2. All your questions answered. And it's okay.
The feminists have literally transformed our... Sorry, you can read it.
Oh. The feminists have literally transformed our once great nation into a communal-fascist dictatorship in which being male is all but illegal. Men starve to death in ghettos, ironically referred to as friend zones by the feminazi elite, toiling away in the lowest level jobs because they have been pushed out of everything else in the name of equality. Meanwhile, they are forced to give away almost all of their earnings in the form of child support after being forced to have the children of female oppressors. To add insult to injury, that money is often used to fuse the feminist agenda and/or shoe shopping. Men are literally hunted down in the street for sport and crate shamed. Often they will cruelly sever our foreskins as gruesome trophies in a display of female dominance over men. In this day and age, it isn't just dangerous to be a male, it is deadly. We are a dying race, and all we can do now is watch with sadness as the females destroy everything that we once were. OP, while your observations are on point, I fear that they have come far too late. The females have won. We are now living in an era of post-fempocalyptic horror. We have reached the gynecological singularity, and there is no going back over the event horizon.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I like that.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
It has to be some kind of Poe.
It's very funny. Yeah, he's got a sense of humour. I mean, he makes a good point. He does make a good point, though. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it's good.
It's funny. Dionysus also believes in the fempocalypse.
Yes, Dionysus. Have we reached the gynecological singularity?
I'm sorry. I just woke up. What are you guys talking about?
Okay, right. That right there is enough reason to stop. All right.
All right. Not even 1 minute into the conversation, I'm already getting bullied.
There's a reason
Yes,
for that.
I was actually asking Nadia to stop, not you.
Yep, it's well, the fempocalypse and the gynecological singularity. Do you think it's here?
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I am extremely worried about femtrails. I think it's, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm working on getting a doctor to help me arrange them as we speak. So, all right, check my screen share. Do you see it, Dionysus?
You'll love it.
I'm looking.
Okay, why don't I just read it for you? The feminists have literally transformed our once great nation into a communal-fascist dictatorship in which being male is all but illegal. Men starve to death in ghettos, ironically referred to as friend zones, by the feminazi elite, toiling away the lowest level jobs because they have been pushed out of everything else in the name of equality. Meanwhile, they are forced to give away almost all their earnings in the form of child support after being forced to have the children of female oppressors. To add insult to injury, that money is often used to fuel the feminist agenda and/or shoe shopping. Us men are literally hunted down in the street for sport and creep-shamed, then falsely accused of rape. We are nothing but game animals to them. Often they will cruelly sever our foreskins as gruesome trophies in a display of female dominance over men. In this day and age, it isn't just dangerous to be a male, it is deadly. We are a dying race, and all we can do now is watch with sadness as the females destroy everything that we once were. OP, while your observations are on point, I fear that they have come far too late. The females have won. We are now living in an era of post-femme-apocalyptic horror. We have reached the gynecological singularity, and there is no going back over the event horizon. All right, then, Isis. What do you say to that?
That's an interesting article. It kind of reminds me of that conversation they were having. I know Simon doesn't like Peter Hitchens, but just to bring this back up for one moment, he was talking to it was a gay guy. It was a couple of feminists, and he said, you guys have won. What can I say? And I would agree with that. Like the people who push the feminist agenda, and when I say feminist agenda, I mean the one, not the one that's for equality, but the other one. And I would just say that you guys will find out that, not you guys, but the ones who are extreme feminists, you will find out that you're in a situation a lot worse off than you were before.
Do you still have your foreskin?
No, but that has more to do with the Jewish tradition, I think, right? They tend to take that circumcision because it comes from the Jewish tradition.
Well, that's what you're led to believe.
Oh, really? That's not what happened?
He actually takes that as like a seriously?
Well, you don't think that comes from the? No, that really does come from the Jewish tradition, though.
No, I meant the gynecological singularity.
I don't think it's that severe, but I think there's some legitimate concerns that men today have to face that they didn't have to face before. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I never had problems getting females. All right, I've had my share of females, so it's not like I've been oppressed sexually. I haven't.
But the proof is down there in the winky department, isn't it? Really?
Wait, what's that?
The proof is down there in the winky department.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is a lot of these, I guess, MRAs may be people who've never really had good experiences with women. I've had great experiences with women, but I've also had some very terrible experiences with them as well.
Have you ever given women terrible experiences?
I'm sure I have.
Okay.
I mean, in all fairness, but I think it takes two to tangle. I don't think I.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I agree. And I mean, another thing as well. I think your society's kind of weird in this way, but when you get a bit older, the book kind of switches back round again to some degree. It tends to be after 30, really, the boot becomes more on the other foot. And you start finding out that men have the advantage in the dating game, not women.
I think I'll have to title my next hangout the Femme-Apocalyptic Gynecological Singularity.
Yeah, I think it needs to be the name of the hangout.
Yeah.
Is it a quantum thing?
Well, it's
Yes.
quantum sexuality.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
The Femme-Apocalyptic Gynecological Quantum Singularity, then. Okay.
But Simon, my problem with women these days is that I don't think I will ever be able to find one that will be able to attract me the way that I was once attracted to them when I was younger.
Right,
Well,
who did that?
Maybe don't worry about it anymore. Just
Incorporated in the room. Okay.
you can do without.
Yeah, it's not a question of whether you don't think you'll ever. Well, that's how it always looks when you're on the single side of things, but actually, you just I find the expectation of hooking up is quite a turn off, right? So if you go around constantly looking for a partner, you're probably not going to find one in a hurry, and you are going to get more and more frustrated. But if you just go around being a normal person, all right, then you come across a lot better, and you have a larger selection of women that may be interested in you.
My biggest problem, Simon, is that my background. Remember that false arrest, and so that scares a lot of women off, I think.
Why do you?
Yeah.
How are they
Yeah,
gonna know about that if you don't tell them?
Well, I don't like to lie. I like to tell everybody. I like to be. I'm
You
very.
don't have to lie. I just don't. That's
Mm.
stuff I don't tell people happened with me in my past. They don't need to know. It's none of their business.
Yeah, I respect what Dionysus is saying here. I mean, if you're going to have a proper relationship and an open relationship, then your past is going to be found out at some point because you should
No,
be
it's
being
not.
open with it. Well, it should be. It
Well,
doesn't
all you
mean to
gotta
say
do
that
is
it
just say
is.
that
I mean,
those motherfuckers
some
lied on
men,
me, and if she loves you,
some
she'll.
men, some women.
I
Exactly.
found that the biggest.
So the point. So let me just finish off there, incorporate. So the point there is, if you declare it on the first date, then obviously that's going to, affect it. And no one's saying that you have to be that open. All right. But for sure, once you get to know somebody and you're in the point where you're saying that, you're about to say that you love each other, then of course, it would be nice to have that explained. But I wouldn't be bringing it up in a hurry on the first date, dude. You know what I'm saying?
That is my problem, Simon. I'm TMI, and I'm just like this happened. I've done this. I've done this.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear
So.
that. I hear that.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's, it's
it's
just
a bit
something that you have
more.
to it's something you have to wrestle with, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nadia.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It looked like that's significant too. Well, granted, that probably wasn't seeking same kinds of relationships, but still, I mean, I don't know. So my medical transition has gone so badly that I've been so radically masculinized that I basically transitioned to male. Yeah. That's apparently what most people think I am. Okay, did I just lose connectivity?
No, you're right. Sorry, I was just leaving Mr. whatever his name is. I don't know. He's a bit unpredictable.
Mr. 21?
That name rings a bell.
Yeah, it's incorporated.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some people I can relax and chat with. Others, it's just like, no.
Yeah. So, Nadia, have you been gaining weight?
Probably.
Now, why? Why is it what you're eating? Are you eating a lot of sugary foods? Or...
Not really sugary, but yeah, whatever.
Okay. It looks like right now you're eating fruit.
Yeah, I found a hole in a wall grocery place to, I don't know, I guess get some kind of healthier stuff. 30 pounds or whatever too late.
Okay, so you're trying to be in the process of losing weight, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, by this point I probably need to lose about 100 pounds.
Alright. That should be doable. within like a year.
The thyroid?
Oh yeah, I got you on that. All right, but anyways, I wanted to talk to Dionysus. Do you think feminism has affected women in this modern age in such a way that it hinders relationships between men and women?
Well, like I was watching okay, just okay. I don't think when you say feminism to me, that doesn't come across as equality. That comes across as one is trying to dominate the other. So it really comes down to how people define feminism. Yeah, I think a lot of females now today are like out to get males. Like that's their it's almost it's almost as if it's a goal of theirs. It's to see how cunning and how manipulative and how it's just a dangerous game. A lot of people won't date American women for that reason. A lot of people will go to like Mexico or Brazil and get one that doesn't know English and bring her back to America.
This applies to lesbians as well.
And lesbians as well, you say?
Does it apply to lesbians as well?
Well, I just think there's a lot of propaganda that's been put in a lot. I'm not saying by you guys, but by the feminist movement that's made man look like he's the evil one, and so there's been all-out war against men, and
Okay, that's funny.
I'm not saying.
So where do lesbians fit into this?
I don't know that. I don't understand that relationship, that dynamic, because I'm not one, so I can't speak about that.
Well, I think that with lesbians, I think one of the theories out there is that because American men now are going looking outside of America to get a lot of their wives now, it's driving a lot of these American women to become lesbians.
Okay, so you think we'll just kind of like flip on a dime and say, well, kind of striking out amongst men in the dating pool, so I'll try women out.
It happens with men in prison. People want to act like this type of stuff doesn't happen. It does happen. It's happening a lot in the black community with young black women for various reasons.
Do you think black women are worse than white women when it comes to stuff like that?
I've seen a ton of black lesbians, man, just in the past year, man. Ton of them.
Okay. And where did trans men come into this?
Oh, what a day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Yeehaw! Howdy, everybody. Let's all be praying for all those poor people in Paris and France that was blowed up by people who are following the wrong God, a false God.
Jim.
Yes.
We reached the fempocalyptic gynecological quantum singularity.
Can you speak that in like normal person's language?
Have we reached the gynecological singularity?
Well, I know what gynecological means because I've been there a couple times with the missus, and that ain't got nothing to do with the singularity.
Okay, let me enlighten you as to what we're talking about. All right, so here I am screen sharing, Jim. It says, the feminists have literally transformed our once great nation into a communo-fascist dictatorship in which being male is all but illegal. Men starve to death in ghettos, ironically referred to as friend zone, by the feminazi elite. Throwing away the lowest civil jobs because they have to
Nadia, please.
Meanwhile, they are forced to give away all their almost all their earnings.
Because that's what it is. It's crap.
What's that? Okay. Well, is he saying how bad feminists are for Taking child support money to fuel the feminist agenda and/or shoe shopping.
You know what, Nadia? Feminists are no better or no worse than any other group of people that put God before their particular cause. If they don't put God before their particular cause, they are wrong, and feminism is wrong.
So godless feminists are wrong, is that right?
Feminists, period, are wrong.
Doubly wrong. They're doubly wrong.
Hilarious.
I think he would likely acknowledge that we have reached the femme-apocalyptic gynecological singularity.
Okay, I'm a country boy. Tell me what the Sam hell that means.
It means there's going to be a feminist black hole.
I thought we already had a few of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
Women are generally turning to lesbianism, and
why would you think that is, Rebecca? Why do you think that would be the case? It's because the media itself is depicting men as, Al Bundy's, the guy, every man projected on TV today is either stupid, dumb enough that he can only be trusted while the wife or the children around to direct him, or he's a religious fanatic. Those are the only times men are depicted.
As much as I disagree with it,
Okay.
Now, homosexuals on the other side, who are perverts, get projected to quite different directions.
Which one of those categories do you fall into, Christian?
I'm in none of those.
All three.
I'm a God-believing child of the Creator. I'm an ambassador of the King of Creation.
With the accusatorial spirit and all,
what he says.
the pharisaical accusatorial spirit. Well, the accuser has a name in the Old Testament, and reference in John 8, chapter 8, verse 44.
What are you talking about now?
bless him, he's quite sweet. He's very under the thumb. What a sweetheart.
Rebecca.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, but I am married.
Watch yourself go. Watch yourself go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just saying that Claire has to be well under control. So.
It's just too easy.
Too easy?
Absolutely.
Oh, heck no, it ain't. It's too easy. What's too easy is to point out where you guys have a completely false religious belief system, putting yourselves or your particular cause before God, and yet that you have the credulity to say, no, thank you, I'm right, you're wrong, nah, 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 nah. Don't even look at the evidence. That's okay. Don't even look at the evidence. That's okay.
I don't have a religious belief at all.
Yes, you do.
And
You believe you
there
are
is,
God.
and also, Christian, there isn't any evidence.
There's plenty of evidence, Simon. We've gone over this.
Yeah, the evidence says that all religions and theistic beliefs are false. Go ahead.
Oh, what is called what?
I said the evidence is that all religions and theistic beliefs are false. Go ahead.
I would have to say the only thing that we know for sure is false is that people are good things. I know for a fact that that's a falsehood. I know for a fact that there's only one type of person out there, and that's bad people.
We know what else is a falsehood. What else is a falsehood is that there ever was a historical person named Jesus Christ. Right?
There was what? Historical
We know
Jesus Christ?
what else. We know what else is a falsehood, and that is that there was ever a historical person named Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well,
Or Yeshua ben Miriam, or
you might as well
Mashiach,
just say we know that it's a falsehood that a person who claims that his name is Nadia never exists, because we have more proof for the existence of Jesus Christ than we do for you, Nadia, and you're sitting right here in front of us. Where's the proof?
Oh, the thing is,
I think
We may
Christian,
be misunderstanding what evidence is, guys. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, and also Nadia's a she. There's no need to be unkind.
I missed that. I thought you did refer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called her a he. It's just so mean.
Yeah.
Flies over my head so often. So often.
Well, happens to me pretty often too. Yeah, not just him.
Yes, incorporating.
No, like people out and about in the world and such.
And they do it because they lack empathy.
Apathy? What is that, some kind of coffee drink?
I don't think they could actually tell.
Oh my gosh.
It's about
It's not.
understanding.
It's close
someone
to psycho. I can't even say it.
It's about understanding someone else's perspective, Christian.
Oh, I do that quite well. I understand other people's perspective because I have been a sinner, have been one who denied God, have been one who declared that I am the end-all, be-all thing that was the most important in the universe. I've been there, done that, bought the T-shirts off.
I failed to see the change there, Christian.
Yeah, I don't think you were ever a trans woman.
No, you don't have to be a trans woman to be a sinner. I don't think you were ever a trans woman, but you're a sinner.
We're talking about empathy, just about being able to turn take.
I have empathy for the fact that Nadia is a sinner. And Nadia has taken her sin, or excuse me, it's so hard not to use pronouns. Nadia has taken Nadia's sin to its, what a quote-unquote logical conclusion, to mutilate Nadia's self to the point that Nadia tries to think that Nadia has made Nadia's self a woman. That will never happen. Nadia will always have Nadia's chromosomes, which will be male, skeletal structure, which will be male, genetic structure, which will be male, never have female organs. So you can go on and say this is a transformation. It is nothing of the sort. It is a mutilation. Long and short of it, Nadia has sinned. Nadia needs to repent and go to the one who created Nadia so Nadia can be the man Nadia was created to be.
Christian, have you ever heard of the concept of sex and gender being separate from each other?
Nope, I've never heard of that.
Sorry, there's nasty feedback. Yeah, they're actually different from each other. Like everyone psychologically imprints a gender on themselves at a certain age. We don't know why this happens.
Yeah, because they don't have a man and a woman in the house. That's why.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
No. We know what the best way to raise children is. The best way to raise children, statistically borne out, is with one man and one woman who are loving and committed to each other and loving and committed to the next generation, the children, the foundation of our very society. Now, if you happen to have a case where the children's biological parents are out of the picture for some reason, then again, the next best way for children to be raised is by heterosexual parents, a man and a woman who are loving and committed to each other and loving and committed to those adoptive kids. That gives those kids the ability to see how a man and a woman relate to one another, how a husband and a wife relate to one another, how a mother and father relate to one another and relate to those children, so they can have that example for when they become old enough to be the husband or the wife, the mother or the father, the man or the woman. They know what to do. When you take the basics out of the equation, what God put in place, then you've got a problem. I'll be listening. Excuse me just a moment. I got some cleaning to do before I do some cutting.
Okay, that's okay. I think really that reply doesn't have anything to do with people's gender and sex. And you were talking about biological sex and how, for most people, biological sex and the gender that they feel they are runs in parallel. But for some people, there's a disconnect, and this disconnect runs all the way through their life. From the moment they have a consciousness as they learn as children, they have an identity which is, and what transgender means is an identity that's different from their assigned sex at birth. So,
Rebecca, I had a transgender. She went from well, she was a female, and I guess you would say transgender male. She became a male, and in her situation, there was no doubt that she was originally a female, and there was no doubt that she was attracted to men. Because she was trying to hook up with me, and I didn't find her attractive, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was in a situation where she didn't. She said she tried to dress up like a female, and it just didn't work out for her. But she was attracted to men, and then she became transgender to become a male and to become a gay transgender male. So it was almost as if because she found herself not physiologically attracted to the opposite sex, she felt like she had to transgender for that reason. So I don't know. I mean, that was a weird situation.
Okay, I think what people. Sorry, the echo is horrendous. I think what people have difficulty understanding is this separation between gender and sex, and this is the issue when people look at trans people from the outside. What they see is someone who's identify as male or female. So in this case, this was a trans man who had a woman's body and presented in a female way, lived with society as a woman because that's how he was taught, and then later on discovered that actually, there was something that he could do about this mismatch between his body and how he felt inside, and that's why trans people exist, because gender is something that's separate from sex, and that's why it's quite difficult for some people to understand why trans people suddenly transition. It's never a decision. It's always that trans people have a different psychological identity. It's fixed. It's unchangeable. And when I say fixed, for some people who identify as trans, their identity tends to wobble a little bit. So they go from feeling as if they belong as a male in society to as if they belong as a woman in society, and this identity is a little bit fluid. For some people, their identity is somewhere in the middle, and they might identify as androgynous. For others, and we've had others in the hangout here who identify as agender, and for the rest of society, people who are agender don't present a problem. It's only the people who present at the opposite binary end of the scale that present a problem. And the reason they present a problem is that it's often excruciating when your gender identity is completely opposite to your sex, your physical sex, and it's this dissonance, it's this pain between the two that pushes people to have treatment for gender dysphoria. The other thing that's quite prevalent in society is that people are very prejudiced against people who change their bodies because they see it as unnatural, because they can't understand that for some people this is a thing. It's a little bit like pain. Like, you can't understand anyone else's pain unless you've been through something quite similar. So something like toothache, you can go, oh yeah, that really hurts, but how much does that hurt? When you have toothache, it's excruciating. And it's similar with gender dysphoria, that if you have an intense amount of gender dysphoria, it is excruciating. And like Nadia shows in her hangouts in the morning, sometimes she gets up and she'll just cry because it just hurts so much to have this sense of body wrongness, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about empathy, is just understanding that this is very painful for Nadia, and when I correct people, when I say to people, please, I mean, Christians, fine to call Nadia, that's much better than calling her he, because calling her he is a really painful thing for her to experience, and it's quite unfair. And I've noticed in Hangouts when people are sort of in religious debates or other discussions, and just to try and make their point, they'll start misgendering Nadia just to be deliberately hurtful. So it's quite important, I think, to understand those differences.
Yeah, I would just say, like, I think the reason why a lot of people, I mean, I never do that. I'm a lot more thoughtful than that. But I would say that what I've experienced personally, the reason why that there could be a certain prejudice that exists, the same reason for any other prejudice, is because you're worried that if you have kids, that will be, if they're impressionable, then they may decide to do something to their bodies that they, even though Nadia, you know, her situation is sincere, whereas you have an impressionable young kid, they may decide to do something like that because, and you can argue and say it's ridiculous, that it would never happen, but I think it does happen. I think you can, that these things are can be contagious towards impressionable young kids, and I think that's the reason why the prejudice exists.
Yeah, whatever.
I wonder if that is actually dangerous. I mean, with gender dysphoria, you know, kids who are we've mentioned before about kids who are lesbian or gay, and they often go through a period of gender dissonance while they're working out their sexuality, and also it happens with trans people as well, is that they'll go through a period of being lesbian or gay in order to try and get over their gender differences, and it's understanding that gender and sexuality are separate and different in this way, but there is opposition from sexual minorities from trans people, but what they don't realise is that you know, trans people have faced these difficulties as well, and opening our eyes to gender variance isn't a bad thing, and generally what tends to happen is that people favour non-surgical routes as much as possible. So society favours non-surgical routes from social pressures, and people who are working with gender variant young people will favour non-medical, non-surgical routes until people feel that they're really comfortable and established in their identity, because it is such a taboo, because people are you know, society is very much prejudiced against people living a gender variant life. It's difficult sometimes for trans people to establish where they are and actually how much treatment they actually need on the spectrum. For some people, it's just a matter of putting on a dress and or wearing a suit every Wednesday and what have you. And these people will kind of, you know, there'll be cross-dressers who might dress up every Saturday, and for these people that might be enough for them to satisfy their kind of gender dissonance, as it were. But for others, you know, it can be quite a crippling, extreme thing. I don't see. I mean, opposers of trans people often talk about, you know, trans people being sexual predators and violence against women and what have you.
I don't buy the whole sexual predator. That's not what I was saying. And but okay, let me give you an example. So do you think like in a situation where like you have a regular basic this actually happened here in Louisiana. The woman who does the news, very extremely dominating newswoman. And I do believe that you can have such a dominating woman in the household where the male starts to question his masculinity and can be more susceptible to cross-dressing and such. You don't think that can happen?
No, I think masculinity and femininity are both social constructs. So it depends on the. It's not only one person in someone's life. It's like everybody in their life. So if men were expected to wear dresses and play with dolls, for example, and they were brought up with, you know, that is their role in society, to wear dresses and play with dolls and to raise the kids, for example, yeah, you know, that was an accepted norm in society, a gender norm for men to do. Then, you know, those men that liked woodwork and what have you, you know, they could equally be, you know, society's pressure saying, oh, you know, it'd be be careful because you'll make your daughter assign into a girl if you make him do woodwork or what have you.
You
So
kind of
it's
agree
all.
with Rebecca. You're kind of agreeing with me because what you're saying is basically, okay, these are all social constructs. Well, okay, so let's say that's true. So if you have the social construct, no matter if it's false or not, if you have like, let's say like a newswoman that I gave you an example of, and if she's behaving in a way where where it's socially she's doing things that would be socially considered the manly things to do in the relationship, do you think that would confuse the male on his role in society?
Well, I don't think it would confuse. I think social constructs inform people of their roles in society. When you say confuse, you're assuming that the current patriarchal dominant role for male is the right one and is a real one. So I think what people who are aware of gender difference and aware of the problems that gender differences cause are asking society to do is to allow everyone to have the freedom to express their gender however they feel most comfortable. Because obviously for some people in society, the way that gender is expressed is really problematic, and this includes cisgender men and women. So there are women who do want to be in powerful positions. There are women who do want to be in the military. There are men who want to do sewing and knitting and what have you, and they're all kind of oppressed by the same kind of systems, and when you're talking about men's role in society, I think that's a very good thing to question. Is like, what is men's role in society? Men, there's big problems with male suicide, for example, because men are told that they should be superheroes, from film and television and TV, but they're also got a very mixed message. Men don't have any clear delineation now of what their roles should be, and this is showing in our hangout right now when there's this kind of weird fear of feminists and femininity and women, and I think partly that's because men need to construct a more cohesive social role for themselves.
You're assuming my disgust with feminism is because
Dionysus, hang on a second. Rebecca, you didn't quite finish there. Do you want to just finish off?
It's all right. I'm being attacked by the puppy, so no, it's fine. Carry on.
You were talked over, and you were just about to make a point which I really wanted to hear, but unfortunately.
I was also going to welcome Art and Nicholas and ask them, whether we are living in an age of post-femme-apocalyptic horror, and if we have reached the gynecological singularity. Art, Nicholas?
No.
Yeah. We have not yet reached the gynecological singularity? Okay. Well,
yeah, okay, that was it. Yeah, so men need to make a more realistic construct of what women actually are than this stereotypical, what are the words I'm looking for?
Well, I think men need to make a construct for themselves about what they are, rather than yeah, absolutely.
But what you're talking about is anarchy. You're just talking about democracy. I mean, you're talking about everyone choose for themselves, and that's anarchy. I mean, that's not.
No, I don't think
talk
so.
about the gynecological singularity. Absolutely.
I'm pretty happy with the Superman kind of stereotype.
Well, the problem with the Superman stereotype, of course, is that young men commit suicide, or older men commit suicide. Sorry, the highest risk factor is over 40s for suicide in male populations, and the reason for this seems to be tied to the fact that men haven't lose track of what their goals are in life. They aren't the Superman that society seem to want them to be, and they're kind of losing track of what their role is, both in their jobs, in their employments, and at home.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Christian, he's got a lovely hobby there, and he's doing, he's quite a good role model, really.
Yeah,
wow, thank you very much. You got me all blushing here.
But apart from the smile.
Well, I didn't lose. I didn't lose track. I was attacked, and my situation, it was taken away from me. It wasn't like I just lost control, didn't know what I was doing, where I was from. It wasn't that. That my situation was maliciously taken away from me. So it wasn't like I was confused about my own, what it meant for me to be a male. It was very clear cut for me.
I'm happy to move on to your trauma again if you need to talk about it more.
No, but you seem to be focused on that when you made that comment. Maybe it's just me being paranoid, but it seemed that you were focused on that.
No, I think this is what happens when you're traumatized. Is that you get a lot of frequent reminders of it. What was it that reminded you?
You were saying that men lose their focus in their 30s or their 40s, and they don't know who they are. And then you referred to Christian Hillbilly, and you were saying that he's a wonderful role model of that. And I was just saying, like, I never lost. I think I would say that I speak for not just me, for other men as well. Is that I didn't lose. We didn't lose track. We had a goal, but that goal was stolen from us. So it wasn't. I mean, at least for me, I understood my path. I understood my goal. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think I guess that's slightly different to what happened with the traumas of your teaching job, which kind of haunts you quite a lot. I think there's a lot of fear of women now.
And for good reason. I mean, not all women are like you. I mean, a lot of women are very, very mean. I mean, the point that I was trying to make, you couldn't make a Stephen King Carrie movie name, where it was a male. That movie specifically shows the cruelties of women, of how cruel they can be. So.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of things then, if I may. Yeah, Christian. I think the fear thing is Rebecca's mentioned over 40, and I think there is definitely something about after a certain period or after the midlife crisis, so in inverted commas, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask Christian about, which was do you recognise that you went through a midlife crisis, and if so, what was your resolution to it? Because you are a good role model in that you're still with your wife, you've got kids, dot, dot, dot.
Well, sir, I don't know that I ever went through a midlife crisis, to be completely honest. I think the closest you could come to a midlife crisis for this old fat boy would be last October when I went into the hospital and nearly died. But I don't think that was a crisis as much as it was an awakening. For me, it was God grabbing me by the short hairs and saying, "Look, boy, you ain't got much time. Get out there and preach." And I've been doing it.
Yeah. Was there a sense of fear with that, or?
No, actually, I got to admit there wasn't. Even when they asked for the priest, they came to me and they said, "Well, do you want us to call you a priest or a pastor, or is there some kind of other denomination we can call for you?" I said, "Yeah, why don't you call me a priest, because I'm a pastor and I'd love a good debate right about now." And they looked at me like I was crazy. Well, I wasn't afraid. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she was a little bit afraid, because she's having a difficult time enough getting around on her own. She needs me, and I think it's one of the things that kept me focused on getting well, is not only that I knew God had a calling for me, but I know God wants me to take care of my wife, and that's what I'm going to do to the best of my ability.
Yeah, so you had a lot of empathy in that situation. And that
sir, I always have empathy. Let me give you another empathy example. I'm sitting there walking the dog yesterday in my neighborhood, and down at the end of the way of my new neighborhood, there's a dead-end street. And kids have set up 2 of those cheapo basketball goals you can get for like $80 at Walmart. I don't know. But anyway, they have just been rougher and I'll get out on them, and they've destroyed one of them dang near. And it was these 2 boys The basketball goal wasn't even theirs. The other basketball goal was pretty tough, and they're playing on it now. Well, anyway, these two boys were bummed, and the rest of the kids were bummed because they couldn't play full court. And so when everybody left, I walked up to the two boys at their house in front of their parents, and I said, "Hey, look," I said, "I noticed that this thing's kind of tore up. Do you want me to try and fix it?" They said, I don't think you can fix it." I said, "Oh, you don't know me. I've got all kinds of cool stuff at the Bat Cave." And they kind of laughed. I said, "Look," I said, if y'all want me to, y'all leave for school tomorrow. I'll drag it down to my place, and I'll fix it, and I'll do my best to have it back in place by the time school's out tomorrow." And I get to looking at this thing. Yeah, it's broke, but nothing this old boy can't handle. That's empathy, because not only do I want these kids to have their toy, that's part of it, but it's a very small part of it. The empathy part of it is I want these boys outside playing with other kids, not sitting in front of a damn video game shooting non-existent people.
I hear you.
I think
Gotta get those boys to run it off.
to be exact, that's sympathy. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy.
And
no, that's empathy, because I've been there, done that. I know what sympathy is. I know the difference.
And community spirit, right? That's helping the community, and that's always a great
thing. Whatever you want
thing.
to call it. But I empathize with those young men that their prized possession is no longer functional, and they don't know how to fix it. And so I'm going to do it for them.
So sympathy is feelings of, I'm just pulling up the Google definition because I'm lazy, feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune, or two, understanding between two people, so a common feeling. So you had a common feeling with the boys because, like, you know, you've had those experiences, is what you're saying. Now, empathy would be feeling their feelings with them. So if they were like really miffed about not being able to play football or what have you, empathy would be, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That must be so awful. You know, you wanted to kick that ball around and it's broken now." That's empathy. That must really suck. Whereas sympathy is from the outside. It's sorry for someone else's misfortune. So, "Oh, you know, sorry about that. I'll go and do something about it." You know, so I'm not saying that sympathy is a bad thing at all. I'm just saying that empathy is slightly different to sympathy, and it's one of the first things that you learn when you're doing counselling is the differences between a sympathetic response and an empathic response.
And welcome, Doctor. We're just trying to bring about the fempocalypse and the gynecological singularity. Go ahead.
With
we are
catalysts. With cosmic quantum consciousness.
So next I got we had all the what is it? Fempocalyptic gynecological quantum singularity. Go ahead.
Simon's part of our fempocalypse, aren't you, Simon?
Well, I'm more like the event horizon.
Absolutely. Free estrogen for everybody. Okay.
Rebecca and Simon, do you guys understand that, like, I don't have so much of a problem with the equality of women. I have the problem with the backlash, the meanness that comes along with it. Do you understand, like, the difference?
Yeah, I do. But I would just point out that, you know, you need to take people on an individual basis to a large degree. That when it comes to meanness, especially, I think it's you know, you can't go men are not mean, women are mean. That doesn't make any sense because, you know, every one of us can be mean.
Yeah, but you know, it's like that saying. I forget who said it, but women, from a man perspective, women make the highs higher and the lows lower. I think that's
whatever, man. Yeah, whatever.
You don't think that's
true? Okay, you know, we get a lot of drugs by being in close, intimate relationships, and that's very, very addictive. And people get either addicted to being in relationships or not. Right? I mean, this is part of our chemistry. This is part of being a human. And I think every time when you generalize like you do, okay, what I hear in my head, I know it's not what is in your head, but what I hear in my head is this sense of division, all right, which is divorcing yourself from the drug. And actually, this drug is a perfectly natural drug, which is very healthy to have. It's very healthy for the brain, the psychology, especially for men. It can extend your life by, years.
And it might help you get over the traumas as well. I mean, like,
everything I just said there is just in my head. I know it's not what you're necessarily saying.
I love the
Right.
way you made the analogy to love and relationships being like a drug. I just didn't. Yeah, they are totally.
Well, it extends life. I mean, that's the point, especially for men. Not so much for women, but especially for men, it will extend your life. As Jim just pointed out, right? One of the things that brought him back was the love of his wife. I need to be there. That's a great motivator and for willpower to survive.
Yeah, and I think what's that quote? There's a famous quote from, I think it comes from Mice. What's that book called? Like Mice from Mice to Men or something like that. It was it says something to the
Steinbeck.
effect that, what's that?
Steinbeck, is it?
Yes, and he said a man dies without a woman, and I think that's completely true. I mean, if a man doesn't have a woman, he starts to like let himself go.
No, that's not true. That's the stereotype that you're falling into, right? I mean, it's just not true. As I say, it can extend. Well, it can extend your life. Well, yeah. If we're addicted to the drug, then we're going to search it out, right? If you're not addicted, then that's okay too. There's no shame either way. Some people just don't feel that. Some people have, no sexuality whatsoever. They're just not interested, and that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable.
Well, I've been with my partner since I was 19, and so she was. I met her. She was working at a chicken shack, and we were both. She was just finishing college. I was just starting college. She was a little bit. She's older than me. She's 22. I was 19, and we're still living together. We're not together anymore, but we're still living together. But I just think that at that age of 19, and us, I'm 35 and she's 38 now. I think at that point, though, you're just so neurologically connected that it's just so hard for you guys to separate because.
Yeah, very much so. You rely on those drugs that you've been getting in a constant dose. It takes a while to wean yourself off it, and then get the same stimulation through someone else. That takes another period of time.
Most men and most women at my age now, though, have so much baggage that it makes it very difficult to form another healthy relationship.
Yeah, there you go with your most men do at this is, it's worse for your generation than any other.
It's very it's
I
very
don't like that kind of.
negative.
I'm not sure I agree with just how general it is, or that you have any way to really compare how things were in the past.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
Oh, Art, how you doing, dude?
Hey, Simon. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, everybody.
Hiya.
So, I heard Hillbilly making a lot of sense, which is... I'm kidding. I cannot say it with a straight face. I'm sorry.
He's making sense to me.
I just got, like... I've tuned in, like, past, like, 20 minutes ago, and I've heard him talk about gender thing and gay people. It's like... Why do you even listen to him?
They go in hell because they being effeminate and not being real men. Muscle yourself up and get yourself all oiled up.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man.
Get the hair on your chest, all over your body.
Is there evidence he's not a girl?
Evidence of what, Nicholas?
That he's not a Poe?
He's definitely no Poe.
But
Drives a hearse, for goodness sake.
Simon, do you realize though that it's not only like men that push these stereotypes, but it's also women who push these stereotypes as well? That make us okay. I just want
to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's all
for
because
me,
of patriarchy.
there's quite a mix. I mean, there's a group of women that want patriarchy. There's a group of men that want feminarchy.
Feminarchy.
And I think a lot of men are quite happy to be in a subservient role.
Yeah.
Feminarchy.
I know, it's brilliant. Quantum feminarchy.
As long as it's consensual, I have no problem with it. I personally am okay with being in a subservient role.
Christopher, you got some real issues with your volume.
Oh, okay, I'll reload.
This is quite loud. You were kind of overpowering.
Simon, so like Nietzsche made a comment in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. He said that this is back in like 18 something. He said because there's so little men left that the women started to become men and the men started to become women. And I mean, this guy was intelligent. I mean, it wasn't like he was just some ignorant, you know.
Well, he did die of syphilis. There's
yeah. He
actually, that's not what he died from. Actually, it was more. That was a rumor. He actually died. If you go back and look at Wikipedia, it's just showing that that's not true. He didn't actually die. His father died from the brain. It was something to do with the brain.
Died of a broken heart.
I think Dionysus will be much happier in a matriarchy because you know then he'd know his place in the matriarchal model, and there wouldn't be any confusion.
One or the other, I think. That's the impression I'm getting.
If you're black and white thinking so much, you know, it would be a good thing.
But I mean, yeah, the Nietzsche thing you've returned to. I mean, you know, his personal life was less than idyllic, right? You know that about Nietzsche.
Well, I mean, it's almost like an ad hominem attack, just because like his personal life.
No, I'm asking you for. Do you know his personal history?
I know him very well. I spent 10 years studying him.
Okay, so you know he was involved in a tryst with his best friend and his girlfriend, right?
Right, I understand that.
Tryst? Is that a love triangle?
Long-term girlfriend.
Is that a love triangle?
Right.
Tryst? Okay.
Long-term girlfriend who then isolated, and they basically got rid of him once they started the tryst.
Yes, but
they killed him?
No, they just threw him out. I mean, you know, they started as he was going out with her, then this other guy came in, they all had a threesome for about a year or so, and then he had to leave because she didn't want him anymore in the threesome.
Well, I don't know if I don't think they literally had a threesome. I think they were just they read poetry together. They sung and they danced together, and then all of a sudden they were supposed to meet somewhere, and he was kind of left out of the situation. But I don't think she ever like saw him in a romantic way, and I think he probably understood that. He was probably hurt from it, but I think he also, Simon, if you read Beyond Good and Evil, when he makes his views about women, he does clarify. He tells the reader, just I want you to understand that these are my views. So he does caution the reader that, look, there may be views beyond mine, but these are my views. So
I just think his views of women are a little bit skew. That's all.
Well, one of the important things that he makes though about women, and I think he's absolutely right on. He hits the nail on the head with, is that he says that for the most part men have not oppressed women, that women have oppressed women more than anything else, and it hasn't been so much.
Sure.
You don't think that's true?
Well, I mean, you know, speaking back in the day, you know, because it's It's a deal. This is the way I honestly look at it. It's a deal made between men and women. Women have to get with men, and men have to get with women. That process has to happen. And what society does is allow that to happen. Okay, now maybe that's changing now, but in the past it was a fairly well-defined process. Generally speaking, okay, certainly going back in the Middle Ages, you didn't marry anybody further than was born roughly 5 miles away from where you were. All right, the path to getting people together was so much more defined. Okay, now there's many ways people can get together, and that throws up a lot of problems because we have to identify not just somebody who lives near us anymore. We have to identify somebody who is compatible with our sexuality, our rhythms in life, our mental states, our attractiveness. All of these things have to be balanced, and it's a lot harder. But when you consider it was as simple as marrying someone that lived within a 5-mile radius of where you were born, I think you can get my point that it in the past wasn't necessarily better because it was easier.
So do you think the relationships now between men and women are better now than they were before? Or do you think they're worse?
Yeah, I do. I think they're better, yeah.
You think they are better? Wow.
I think there's probably less domestic violence, for instance. Yeah. Just as a off the top of my head improvement. I think people get to experience much more fulfilling relationships now because they don't have to necessarily stay with unfulfilling relationships, for instance.
So you believe in progress?
Well, only 50 years ago that would have been very difficult to do, and if a woman decided to try and do that, she would very often be outcast in society, or at least demoted in her social position within society. That's no longer the case.
Well, I just feel like when you gain somewhere, you lose somewhere else. So like if you're
you do. As I say, it's less well defined, right? In times past, it wasn't necessarily about meeting someone who is actually your life sole partner. It was more about meeting someone who lived close enough for you to be able to hook up with. Right?
Okay, so what about like okay, so we're talking about yesterday about being promiscuous and how so how would you say you were saying like it was common, it's always been common to adultery and all these like virgin. But what about the book of Madame Bovary, where Madame Bovary was considered to be a very vulgar woman because of her promiscuity? I mean,
yeah.
Would you say that
was the point? Well, that was the point I was making. That was the point I was making. In fact, that there have been books about promiscuity going back, and although that doesn't say how much was going on, it definitely tells us that it was going on.
But don't you think that it was a lot stricter back then though than it is now? Like now it's almost acceptable.
Sure, I think the penalties were more extreme back then. Were harsher if you got caught doing it. Especially for the woman, the penalties for the woman were quite extreme going back in history. Not so much for men, but.
Well, there's a really good biological reason for that, because like so if a woman's, and I'm sure you know this already, Simon, but like a woman, the reason why that exists is because if a man if he's making money, he has to believe that child is his.
Sure. I could make biological explanations for it as well, but just because something happens in an evolutionary way or a biological way doesn't mean that it's morally the correct thing to do, right? Morally, the correct thing to do is to give women equality.
That's hard to say because it seems like if those things were not good. Okay, so that's one of the comments that when you talk about evolution, if certain things that were considered evil were not good, then they would have disappeared. I mean, evolution would have weeded them out, right? I mean, it's kind of it's almost kind of arrogant to say like we know better than what evolution knows. Like evolution seems to like has had the time and problems to realize what's best.
Sure. In the respect I just said, morally, we do know better than evolution.
Hey guys, I just found something interesting. Friedrich Nietzsche apparently had a book called The Gay Science.
Yeah, that's not referring to homosexuality, by the way.
I know. I was wondering if somebody would figure it out. What is it actually refers to? It's the fun science, the joy of science. Because gay used to mean joyful.
Correct.
Boom. Okay. I was hoping Hillbilly would jump on it, but okay.
He's not even there.
Yeah, damn it. Gay science. That's probably what he thinks evolution is. The gay science.
It's so Nietzsche. It's so Nietzsche. He's such a closet. He really was.
You think he was a closeted homosexual?
I don't know.
No. Actually, I know about this. Actually, I know about this. What happened was when him and Wagner were having they were having problems. Him and his relationship with Wagner. Wagner was communicating with his doctor, and it actually got so he almost actually wanted to kill either the doctor or Wagner because they actually because the doctor had expressed some of Nietzsche's sexuals. Saying that Nietzsche masturbated too much or something like that. So no, Nietzsche was absolutely not a homosexual. So please don't say that. He's absolutely not. I know that for a fact. I've read some of the letters that went back and forth between him and his doctor and Wagner, and because Wagner had a concern about Nietzsche, and sometimes he would correspond with Nietzsche's doctor. And
it doesn't matter if he was gay or not.
I know, but he wasn't gay though. I mean, he almost got to the point where he was ready to kill somebody for accusing him of being gay. Okay, for example, like Schopenhauer was one of his biggest role models, and Schopenhauer believed that homosexuality was a necessary evil because it had to be, because he believed that because it went so against what Mother Nature wanted, which was it was contrary to reproduction, and that's why Schopenhauer believed it to be an evil, but a necessary evil. But that's you go look at Schopenhauer. Look at Schopenhauer's Wikipedia page, and it'll explain why he believed that homosexuality was considered to be an evil.
Yeah, we can guess. We've heard the Christian argument many times.
No, but he's not. But Schopenhauer was not a Christian. He's an atheist.
Was he?
Yeah, but he was just saying that. Okay, so his argument was that if you're homosexual, then it goes so much contrary to what the aims of natural selection is. So that had to be a mechanism for people.
So we come back to exactly the same point. It's that I'm afraid I know morals better than nature does. I refuse to accept my morals from evolution.
Richard Dawkins said one of the most important things about studying biology is to know what not to do.
What not to do? Yeah, good way of putting it, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a hard time in challenging. I mean, I understand, like, okay, because you definitely don't want red tooth and claw, because then obviously that's going to have you want to create some type of stability. Indeed. But at the same time, I just you look at billions of years or at least millions of years of evolution, and you just got to be very careful where you start to say where evolution is wrong. I think it's very easy to make mistakes.
Wrong. How did I say evolution was wrong?
Not wrong, but
morally.
That you're morally,
right.
like you're morally.
So we're talking about morals, yeah. So we're talking about morals, and I'm saying we shouldn't take our morals from evolution.
In fact, you could not. I mean, evolution is not about morals.
I know.
Evolution is about what
I know.
It is. Yeah, no, I'm not talking to you, Simon. I'm talking actually to the other guy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. Evolution shouldn't be telling us anything about morals because it's not moral itself.
It's the is, it's not the ought.
Okay, thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. I know I was loose.
correcting you. I was correcting the other guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
But you don't think we're suffering a little bit because maybe like a lot of these problems like evolution would have taken care of? You know, it's kind of like Louis C.K. made that argument. He says, you know, if you, of course we should warn people about peanut allergies. But maybe if everyone that was allergic, if you're gonna die from a peanut allergy, maybe you were not supposed to exist in the first place. You know,
Sure.
I mean.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. But you know, let's put it to you another way. Is your girlfriend good looking?
Yes.
Okay, so if I come round to your house and fight you for her, you're okay with it?
I think it depends. I mean, we have the rule of law, right?
Exactly, right? Whereas evolution or nature, there's no such thing.
I see your point.
Cool. That was easy. Nicholas, how are you? Haven't spoken to you for a little while.
Cheers, brother.
Wait, before you go on, I have to say something bad about Gus behind his back, because that's kind of what I've been accused of.
Yeah,
Gus,
come on, man.
Okay, Gus.
Better be funny though.
Aw, damn it! I wasn't thinking of anything funny. Gus is a Canadian and he's not nice. That's the best I can do.
Okay.
You know what was really weird? I just took a little time out to watch some telly and have some dinner, and they were discussing the rise of female violence on telly.
Wow.
It's probably based on the patriarchy again. Just.
That's definitely the
Yeah.
feminarchy.
Quantum feminarchy.
It's matriarchy, for fuck's sakes. Even I know as a Russian that that's how you should probably call it. Matriarchy.
No, I like feminarchy.
Feminarchy.
It's got some. I'm going to use it. In fact, this is what I'm going to call, instead of feminism for equality, then I'm going to just call it feminarchy.
But it's like calling patriarchy menanarchy.
Yeah, but it means more because feminism, right, seems to be about a bit more than equality now. And there seems to be a different with this wave thing. I don't know why they're waving all the time, but they seem to be doing a lot more waving these days. And,
I know, right? See, that's what kind of
we need a word for this, because I still want to be a feminist. I'd like to be a feminist. It would be nice if I could be one, but they're taking the term away from me. So I just have to be an equalitist.
Why do you?
It's like the equalizer. I am the equalizer.
Equal it. So wait, you just want to be okay? So you just want to be justified in calling yourself a feminist, even though you just adhere to equality of sexes, not the extra stuff that most feminists are. Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I don't wave that extra little bit. So I'm just saying, you know, if I call it feminarchy, all the extra waving.
But that's still imbalanced. I mean, if you have a feminarchy, if you have a majority of females who are in the government, then that's imbalanced still. I mean, that's my problem with this whole approach of, you know, how do we know that there's an oppression of sexes? Is because there are more men in power. Well, okay, so you're suggesting we should have quotas? We should have equal amount of representatives? So that's not meritocracy then you're gonna be picking people, you're gonna be picking candidates not based on their merits, not based on what they promote, but on their gender, which is sexist. Literally.
That's what Simon calls positive discrimination, right? That's
correct? Yeah. But
it's sexist.
Correct.
Yeah, that's positive sexism.
Yeah.
Good. I think it's stupid. Sorry.
Okay. The reason it's done is not because it in itself is a good thing. It's that in order to change the momentum of the status quo, it's usually required.
Okay, after we changed it, what do you suppose we do afterwards?
Well, you stop it as quick as possible.
But we go to what system? We go to meritocracy again?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then we will have what?
Well, then the momentum has been changed, and so that momentum continues until you get to whatever the natural balance is for the society.
Okay, let's say that you still will have more men in power.
Yeah,
are you gonna claim that?
Happened. Yeah, that happens.
Right, and you're gonna still claim it's because women are being discriminated, or are you gonna finally realize that there are different choice patterns that humans make?
Yeah, I mean, you can, one of the things about it is that you look at the stats, right, to find out whether there's an underlying trend.
Hey, how do you find out discrimination on stats? I mean, not even a pay gap shows discrimination.
Well, I grant you, but the point is that's how statistics are used in those kind of sciences, the soft sciences, right? So I'm not saying it's correct, and you have to get your models right.
Well, first of all,
but
don't you find it?
One of the things I would say about it is that in South Africa it was very useful after apartheid, and also in England, after the riots, it was what was introduced after the race riots. It was what was introduced, and it was very successful.
What was introduced?
We still haven't got rid of racism, but nonetheless, it's been very successful in terms of integrating minority populations.
So, if we had your way, then future candidates would not be just judged on how good they are in managing things, how awesome policies they have, but on their gender. So you don't see it as a little bit fucked up?
Well, okay, so it's been used. I mean, there's been several examples in the UK of where it's been used. Okay, so for one thing, the shortlists for candidates for a particular seat have had to have a quota of women. Okay, so you're not, in these particular seats, you weren't allowed to have all male candidates. There had to be at least, 2 women represented. That was one way, but even then, that didn't get enough women into politics for the media and the social acceptance. So the Conservatives actually then started having all women shortlists, so only a woman would be, voted into a flames. But there was still a competition amongst women, obviously, for the best woman to take the post. So.
Okay, how about the outer minorities?
And this is politics. This is an example of politics, of course, which is heavy media driven, etc., etc.
Okay, so how about outer minorities like blacks, Hindus, Middle Eastern, popular people, fat people, thin people?
Yeah.
They all should be quoted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in this country, the way it's been done is through the civil service. So traditionally, that was the thing. We had quotas then for disabled as well.
So wait, you literally had like quotas for fat people?
Not necessarily fat people, but potentially.
Because there is discrimination against fat people.
Included in a quota if they were disabled.
Right, but because according to sort of feminist ideology, which I would kind of agree, there is discrimination against fat people to some extent, at least to much of extent as there's discrimination according to them towards women.
I disagree.
Well, I'm a fat person.
I disagree because I've had principles that are fat.
No, Chris, you're thin-splaining to me now.
No, I've had principles that are fat. Wow. I've seen people who are like in organizations that are fat. So.
No, unless you're a fat bastard like me, you're thin-splaining to me.
No, I'm a little chubby myself. So.
No, you're not as fat as me. You're not as discriminated as me. You're talking from thin privilege.
Wow.
Gus is our king. Gus is our king of fat privilege.
How fat are you? Oh.
I am 330 pounds.
Wow.
I am big though.
That means absolutely nothing to me.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, chubby little.
But it doesn't mean shut up people, right? Okay, so let's take it from a different perspective, like attractive people versus non-attractive people, because there is favorship to attractive people, right? Like,
Yes.
you cannot deny that, right?
Yes.
If you're gonna accept
Yeah.
that there's favorship to men or females, you cannot deny there's favoritism to attractive people, funny people, intelligent people, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this is discrimination
Yeah.
according to feminist
Do you
theory.
think there's discrimination against attractive people, though? I mean, Shakespeare wrote sonnets about that. I mean,
I don't think it actually kind of is a big issue, but I'm saying according to the feminist sort of idea of what discrimination is, what a systematic discrimination is, there should be a thing of, discrimination against, ugly people and unfunny people.
Stop ugly
And
explaining art.
Yeah, and
like Shakespeare was saying that, like that attractive people are turned into sluts and whores. I mean, that's that's where, like, whereas like ugly people are considered, like Richard III was a good example of that by Shakespeare. Whereas like where attractive people fall into traps that maybe like ugly people are not so much.
right. That's fine. That's what I had a point there where I was going. So if we acknowledge, according to feminist theory, that there is discrimination against fat people, we should also acknowledge that there is discrimination against ugly people and stupid people and smelly people who smell bad, because hey, nobody wants to hang out with a smelly guy or a swimmy gal, right? Or a sweaty gal. Or a
You
sweaty.
shouldn't be smelly, and also if you are smelly, like,
Right, but
being
what if I have a
dirty,
condition?
Kind
Yeah,
of
but
like,
that's the thing. I'm born with it. Like, I'm actually not born with it. But what if I was, right? So that would constitute discrimination. So there should be a quota in in the government for smelly people, ugly people, fat people, etc.,
Well,
etc., etc.
Intersectionality.
There is in this country. I mean, a lot of our
Really,
politicians.
ugly and fat people. You see, and smelly people.
yeah, in my country too, there are like
Yeah,
ugly
not
ass
ugly, man.
politicians, like friggin'
It's weird, man. It's fucking
Chris
weird.
Christie is an
Politicians.
example. He's
Like, it's like if you're the kid that gets picked on in class, you're going to be a politician.
You're gonna be what?
You're going to be the politician.
That's not by experience.
I've been
Because if
picked on by
that was
You
true,
know-
I should be the king of the
You know
world.
about David Cameron? They made him put his dick in a pig's head.
what the fuck? Oh,
That's
Yeah,
unfair. That's unfair. Though.
oh my!
Man, this shit. This happened.
No. You're not talking about the same ugly people I'm talking about. So I'm also talking about the non-funny
I
people,
think
the
the was dead,
non-social people.
just to put that. It's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay, man. So I hope Mrs. Pig gave him a good blowjob at least. But moving
At
on.
least use a condom or something, because that's just dirty.
No. It's how the Brits do it. What can I say?
Hope he doesn't have STDs now. So, because like if he stuck his
No, he has a small rash though.
again, I'm just saying because pigs are very dirty, especially under the condition we have them on, like eating almost
Okay,
everything.
guys. I feel we're going in a tangent here. Okay.
Simon, did you see that the Netflix series Black Mirror?
Again, tangent. For fuck's sake, what did you say, Steve? That's Steve, sorry. Yeah.
No, but it has to do with the pig, the Black Mirror, where the guy was.
Yeah, and I'm saying the pig is the tangent. Hold on, we're making a point here.
It wasn't for David Cameron.
Yeah, fuck you, David Cameron. So, do you get my point, Simon, right?
Yes. I didn't actually know. Could you just repeat it?
Oh, fuck. Are you kidding?
Well, I was almost with you, but then someone said something about pigs and it got a little devolved.
Yeah, somebody. Some Brit who looks like Mick Jagger.
It wasn't me. I didn't mention. I just mentioned David Cameron.
Right.
Oh yeah, maybe it was me. Yeah, it was me. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so you get my point, right? Because under the definition of discrimination we're talking about, there's like hundreds of groups of people who would classify as a discriminated group, and they would be discriminated by, guess who? Women and men.
together.
Yeah.
We're talking about the
Yeah.
unpopular kids. We're talking about the ugly, people,
Yeah.
smelly people, fat people. So they should be all, they have quota. They should have quotas there too. They should be sufficiently represented, not just,
Good point.
relevant
Yeah,
to the
no, you make a
percentage.
good point. Yeah, no,
Right.
you make a very good point. Okay, so I can't now claim, or there has to be some you're saying that I have to recognize evolution in my morality, otherwise the race is
Oh.
doomed.
Oh, well. Are you making fun of the other guy, or is it I know it's a reference to that somehow, maybe, no?
Well, no, yeah, it is, because you're saying basically that, this discrimination, which is done on evolutionary grounds.
No. Wait, what? Are you saying this is justified?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's
Really?
justified.
So you think you're justified in shunning somebody who's just overweight or smelly?
Well, on evolutionary grounds.
You don't believe in evolution. You don't believe in evolution as a moral basis.
Well, no, I thought this is what you were pointing out. I didn't.
No.
And I'm just thinking, is this what you're pointing out to me?
No.
Right. Okay.
I'm saying if you're gonna use that standard to, conclude that women are discriminated, and the solution to that is to employ quotas, then both by that standard and by the standard of your solution, we should have quotas for ugly people in government, fat people in government, unfunny people in government. Because all of them are discriminated.
Statistically, we should have at least one Art Thor in every office.
Oh.
Now you say it, I'm beginning to get more on board with you. Yeah, every office should have a stupid person.
But Simon, this is happening, right? This is discrimination, right? I mean, it's not his fault that he's stupid, right? It's not his fault that he's just not funny and not good to hang out with. So he's being discriminated by no fault of his own.
So what conclusion do we draw from this?
Well, according to the feminist theory, we should have a stupid representative in the government to represent him.
Or what about a person who commits domestic violence who can't help it? Shouldn't we have a domestic violence person too? I mean, shouldn't we have a rapist, or where do we stop our discrimination?
Yeah, why are women deemed worthy to have representation and a right for life, and stupid and ugly people don't, and fat people? I think none of them can help that they're being the way they are. Smelly people
can be the stupid representative.
No, I'm serious, Rebecca. According to your sort of ideas of what is discrimination, what is a proper solution to, remove it, this fits.
Well, the problem is in not identifying it in the first place, that there are discriminations that happen. The problem is just ignoring it and just carrying on as if nothing's happening.
Sure.
And
color me a new feminist. I just recognize that there's discrimination in other spheres.
Spoken like a true Brit.
Yeah, and I think the idea that you'd represent people who are pretty nasty to society and those around them as discrimination is.
Wait. If I'm a smelly guy, how am I nasty to society? And even if I am nasty to society, it's not my fault. I'm just born with it.
Rebecca, obviously, that's unfair. You're being very kind of mean now. I was using a hyperbole, but I mean, it is true. I mean, if people can't, I mean, at what point do you say that discrimination is that you have to discriminate against certain people because they're not positive towards society? I mean,
well, you're using quite distressing hyperboles, which is why I pick you up on it.
I mean, yeah, in a few years we can invent artificial wombs, and then we have no need for women, and all of their negative effects should be removed. I mean, why should we deal with women in the first place? Just make artificial wombs, make an absolute patriarchy.
Because you're absolutely addicted to us. That's why we're delicious.
Okay, damn it, you're right. You're right. But no, seriously, to my point before this, not the artificial wombs thing, but I mean, this fits under feminist, sort of ideas. So why is that not valid? Why should we not do this?
Well, equally, why should we not look at discrimination and look at differences and conflicts and what have you, and look at ways to resolve them? Because if if you don't resolve those conflicts, then you will end up with violence and war and what have you. And this is.
We should, totally, but I don't think the solution to discrimination is more discrimination.
No, the solution is understanding when you are discriminating. Like, discrimination is a really subconscious process. It's not something that a lot of people are consciously aware that they're doing. And in order to counteract it, you have to be really aware of it.
Sure,
you don't think you discriminate at all? I mean, you don't think that subconsciously you don't discriminate?
Well, we all subconsciously discriminate. Of course we do.
Okay.
But some of us are more aware of it than others.
But okay, but how is the solution again to solve discrimination by more discrimination? Like, we should really so again, what I'm saying fits the feminist idea, right? So smelly people should be in fact preferred over non-smelly people because they're being more discriminated. We have to employ positive discrimination towards smelly people to allow them to be more represented.
What do you think would be the kind and empathic response if you had a smelly employee?
Wait, say again?
What do you think would be the feminist response if you have a smelly employee and they're causing issues in the workforce?
They would probably be blaming it on the patriarchy.
No. They would do something like subtly hint about something slightly similar, and in the hope that the guy understood what they were talking about.
No, men don't understand. Well, sorry, most men have difficulty understanding hints. You have to be direct.
Right.
See, that's racist. No, that's sexist.
I know, it's so sexist, isn't it?
But seriously, you guys not providing me a reason why this is not valid under feminism.
Why what's not valid?
I think I did, first of all. I think I did, first of all.
How?
Well, I told you it's about moving the momentum, so you have to recognise the state is.
I'm looking at the smelly people.
The situation is already. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, the smelly people easy. Okay. Right. So, we do find it problematic to have people which are unhygienic around us. It's something that.
No, I'm not talking about hygiene. I'm talking about smell.
Yeah, smell. We equate smell to hygiene.
No, that could be one of the reasons why somebody smells, but smells are not necessarily due to bad hygiene.
Yeah, but some can also equally say that having it can be problematic because of emotions.
Yeah, all right. Inductively, it is.
Yeah, sure, but I'm telling you a situation where it's actually not, right? Because there are people who have medical conditions.
Bad shit happens. I mean, I get where you're going, but I don't think the question is the right question. Why do we not discriminate? I would prefer to use the stupid example, right? Why don't we discriminate for stupid people? Because obviously they get discriminated against, right?
Well, we do.
Do we?
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah, just look at what we did to Hillbilly and other. Just look at how they did.
Well, I think people do have an awareness.
Why do we discriminate for stupid people? That was the question.
Oh, why are we supportive of people of different intellectual abilities?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that the question?
We're talking about discrimination, okay? The current status is that we do discriminate against stupid people. That's my starting basis, right? So why do we not positively discriminate for them?
Well, what are the underlying facts to your argument that we discriminate against stupid people?
Because there don't seem to be many highly paid stupid people.
Where's your evidence for this?
We're not led by stupid people in mass numbers.
Well, there'd be a lot of people that would argue that we are.
Well, hold on a second. When you say somebody's stupid, I mean, okay. For example, I have a degree in STEM, but Rebecca is gonna, who makes a claim who's stupid and who's not? Because I don't agree with you, I'm considered to be stupid. I mean, that's another type of discrimination, because all of a sudden you can say you can form a mob and say because they don't agree with feminism, therefore they're stupid, or because they don't believe in Christianity, therefore they're stupid. I don't think Hillbilly is stupid if he's survived and he has a wife. I mean, I think that says a lot more about most people in this chat room, right?
I think most
Yeah,
people are
I don't know
alive.
who was.
In the chat room.
I don't know. I don't know. Anybody was. Nobody was calling you stupid.
No.
And number one, and the point about it is that there are stupid people. Can we agree on that?
I agree on that, but I'm very careful on how I'm very careful on who I call
You're
stupid.
not.
As the
Generally, you're
president of
not very.
Stupid People
Generally,
Society, I agree.
generally, you're not very careful about what you call people. You tend to generalize quite a lot. All right, so don't accuse me of trying to overgeneralize. Okay, back to the point here. All right, so yes, these groups do exist, obviously. The question is, should we be discriminating positively for them because they are discriminated against?
You see, this it does raise a lot of questions, like who measures what does stupid mean? Who measures stupidity? Are you talking about intelligence quotients or emotional quotients?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, either of them.
and yeah, how do we measure?
Okay, what
Doesn't
you're doing
matter.
is smart-splaining to me
Whatever
right
you
now,
want.
okay? I self-identify as a stupid person. I self-identify as a stupid person, accept my pronouns,
It's not
okay?
important. It's not important because we're making a general case.
You're
Okay,
not
so
stupid though.
I do, I'm kidding.
yeah, you are. Oh, definitely. He is honestly.
Thanks, buddy.
He isn't.
Yeah, he's smart. Unfortunately.
And it's gonna be your downfall.
Hey, you know, me and Gus, we're tight, so don't fuck about. All right.
I guess so. I guess people do smart explain though. They do, don't they?
Of course they do. That's the advantage of being smart.
Okay, I could concede that, okay, smart, stupid people is maybe not the best example, because, I mean, sure, we would not want stupid people in the government because they're just not, well, they're stupid.
But we do have stupid people in the government.
We do.
But they're by different reasons.
Yeah.
They have a sort of social smartness.
You see the point about discrimination, though. You can't just go, right, well, why don't everything should be discriminated? Well, clearly there are examples where we shouldn't be discriminating for people that are discriminated against.
Right, but I just consider to one example. What about smelly people and fat people and not funny people? I would say not funny people is really a good example, because not being funny just could mean that you're just socially awkward. It has nothing to do with your ability to govern. Do math, do calculations, know policies, etc. So we should possibly discriminate for people who are not funny.
But would you call that a social disability?
Sure.
But we already have.
That's ableist language, guys.
Yeah, I'd go a bit further actually. I think it's a mental disability.
But do we have mentally disabled people in the government? Are there quotas? Are we positively discriminating for people who are, mentally disabled?
I think we do. I mean, we do have quotas.
Okay, name me one person who's mentally disabled in the government. And don't say all of them. Okay, I know it's funny to say that.
Donald Trump?
George W. Bush.
Okay, guys, come on. You know who I'm talking about. We all know it's funny to.
David Cameron stuck his dick in a pig, so, I mean, you tell me.
He was forced to.
David Sylvester still have a seat?
Allegedly.
He was known for saying that various floods and such were caused by, I think, the UK's move from, civil unions to full-on marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted MPs with mental illness. Former Defence Minister Kevin Jones.
James Watt, the Secretary of the Interior in the Reagan administration, I think, was known for having said, "When the last tree is felled, Christ will come back."
Andrea Leadsom, Sarah Wollaston, Charles Walker. Yeah,
but I'm not talking about general mental disability. I'm talking about people who are not funny. Is that a specific group of people who are discriminated against?
Well, I mean, you defined it as a mental illness.
Queen
No, that's what you
Victoria.
define it, and I agree that it does fall. It's a subcategory of mental illness, but it's a specific one.
I didn't
She wasn't
categorize it as that.
I did.
Can
I did.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, Simon.
Yeah, because if you, it's called there's a special bone in the head. It's called the funny bone. Some people just don't have it.
So wait a minute.
It's
Actually,
medical.
Ronald Reagan is case in
medical.
point. Alzheimer's.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
I think George Bush had like his fair. Junior had his own fair share of issues.
Let's face it, Ronald Reagan was stupid as well.
Well, look, the reason, Art, to answer your question, the reason why I think the feminist and the homosexual community has gotten such has had such a an influential role is because it goes across all cultures.
The transsexual community needs more of a role too.
That too, sorry,
but there are non-funny people in all communities and all cultures. Come on.
Yeah, but you're not gonna have a group that's gonna form like you're gonna have with the feminist movement or with the homosexual.
Well, you see, that's the funny arc. That's because of funny archy. You see, it forces people who are not funny to not speak against it. It's the funny archy.
I tell you the biggest group that's discriminated against by far. I mean, it's not homosexuals. It's not fat people. I mean, it's really the biggest group that's discriminated against by far in history. No, it's not. White men fucking pale into nothing. Pale into insignificant. Dead people.
Dead people.
Wow.
We should have dead people in the government. North Korea in that sense is very progressive, isn't it?
Are you saying that we form a necropsy?
Well, yeah, like North Korea. Yeah, their founder is still the leader of the country. Yeah.
Technically a necropsy. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, the pay gap is shocking.
But Simon, don't you think it's stupid though? Like, okay, let's say let's say like the white males were like on top, and if I'm a white male, wouldn't it be stupid for me to try to give any other group advantages though, just for my own political interests? Or would it be stupid for me to side with any other group? Would it be in my own interest to side with my own group?
No, that's because
but would it be in the interest? Would it be in the interest of your children to side with your own group?
It depends on what my child is, right? It depends if my child's a female or a white male or a white female or a mix, right? It depends.
Or what about their children then? Or their children?
Well, you're talking
at what point do you stop thinking about your own personal needs and you start thinking about the planet and humanity?
Well, I just think that like sometimes and that's what I criticize you liberals about is that you guys. Sometimes you like this self-preservation where you don't want to preserve your own kind, and I just think that's folly. Like,
what do you mean by your own kind?
Male is not a species.
Yeah, like that's freaking retarded, dude.
It was. I never said it was. But why would I have
Dionysus, you use word like kind, right? Christopher, can you mute? You use words like kind, right? Kind is the wrong word to use, clearly.
I don't mean to invoke racism.
Okay, well, just rephrase what you're saying then without using those kind of generalized terms which don't really mean what you're trying to convey.
Whether you're funny or fat or smelly, wouldn't it be in your advantage to I mean, if I was ugly,
no.
Why would I want to help the attractive people gain power?
Because empathy.
Because maybe your kids will be attractive. Maybe you can hope that one day.
Have you seen how I look, Simon?
Like
have you seen how I look? There's zero chance.
I haven't. No.
Oh, come on, Art! Don't sell yourself so short.
No.
I'm really.
You got the funny look,
now,
right?
Yes, I have the.
I bet there's a lot of good Russian women who would want to have your babies.
Yeah,
thank you guys. But
there are some sexy Russians.
Tell me, and they'll do it for like less than 20 quid.
Oh, nice. Hey, you have to, give me their number or something.
Are you Russian, Art?
Yeah, I am Russian indeed.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I am. It's probably a name that kind of upsets you and kind of misled you because my name is English. I'm Arthur.
Oh, I see. Oh, hence the bottle of vodka in your little picture thing.
Yes, yes, yes. And I just like Thor. That's why it's his Thor picture. So
I want to go to Valhalla.
yes.
Isn't author pronounced the same way in like French, English, and German? Isn't it the same? Like, that's one of the advantages of that name, author. I think that's the reason why Schopenhauer. I think that's the reason why they call him author Schopenhauer, because it's said the same way in every country.
I don't know if that was the thought in my parents' head when they picked it. What they were actually thinking is to name me after Arthur Conan Doyle and King Arthur. That was kind of the thought. And later on, I kind of found out that Arthur actually means bear man, like as in a man who's like a bear. And
Wow, like I call you
hold your horses, Chris. It's not that kind of a bear.
Dude, we need to get the astrologer in here. That is incredible. So they knew that you were going to be like a bear before you were born.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I look like any animal, it's a bear. I'm clumsy. I'm kind of a big, hairish. And no, Chris, I'm not that kind of a bear.
Well, you're a bear to me, Art. You're a bear to me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's so sweet.
Well, I'm pretty sure German pronounces the TH as a T.
Yeah.
Was there a TH? Oh yeah, there is a TH in Arthur.
I know that why Schopenhauer was named author is because his parents knew that author was the same in all English, French, and German. I know that for a fact.
I have to admit, I'm really enjoying tonight's discussion rather than yesterday's.
Oh, who did you talk to yesterday?
Oh, I don't know. They were just horrible.
No.
Was it someone named Hosea or something like that? Josiah or...
No, it was. Oh God, what was his name? The Mister, whatever his name is.
Okay, but prepare for someone named Josiah to come into these chats. He is like a mini little G-man. I shit you not. A mini little G-man. He's going to be a great addition to this community.
It's all right when there's like one, but when there's more than one and they start like bouncing around off each other, oh God, it's just you.
Tell me about it. It was in our just hangout this one time, and there was Michael and Von Helton and 3 other conspiracy theorists, and they're all bouncing conspiracy theories out of from each
Von
other.
Helton
Like,
hasn't been around recently, has he?
he's making videos, but he's not showing up in hangouts.
He is
I kind of like conspiracy theories.
Yeah, because they're crazy.
Yeah,
They're
it's
crazy
just,
and just make you think. Maybe
But
it
like-
could be, but then you realize, no, it couldn't be because it just doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I just wanted to point out, I mean, think of how many there are, right? Just think how many conspiracy theories there are. Surely one of them has got to be true, right?
Right. I mean, obviously, I've seen like small scale conspiracies happen all the time. So if they happen on a small scale, they have to happen on a large scale, right?
You know what I'm saying? You hear that logic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
yeah,
the feminarchy is real.
it's more than real. Well, I'm saying it's funded by the French Secret Service.
Yeah, we've reached the event horizon.
They're actually funded by the female Greys.
They're funded by child benefit payments.
She's woman-splaining to me now.
Yeah. Sponsored by Woman's Own.
Yeah, woman's explaining it. Yeah, it's explaining what men think, can do, and act and behave.
Yeah, I love that chat. That makes me laugh.
Like, both sexes have their own fair share of issues. Like, some sexual orientations, gender identities, people who identify with these, they can be just as bigoted, in my experience. There are like people who are gay, like who are just horrible to someone else who is gay. Like these log cabin Republicans. Like I don't know if you remember, like a while ago, there's this video that circulated where this kid came out to his parents and basically he was like disowned. And then like his mother-in-law or aunt or someone attacked him.
Are you talking about the Young Turks? I saw that on Young Turks. It was on Young Turks about a month ago.
No, it was quite a while ago.
It's probably it's probably more frequent, so it's probably many videos of that situation happening.
Yeah, and that's what's fucked up.
In all defense, on the other side though, and like I'm not against. I mean, I'm for homosexuality. Like I'm not for it. I don't care about it. Like it doesn't bother me. But in all defense though, in the video that I saw, the father had pleaded with the son and said, look, you know, like I understand you're homosexual, but please don't go on Facebook and talk about it and do all these things because it's affected my social life. And so the father was trying to reach a compromise with the son, but the son was...
No, the issue was that the father was openly racist.
Oh, okay, this is a different story then.
Yeah. He said derogatory things.
It is a bit problematic though. Even that I've used a feminist word, problematic. It's a bit problematic when you compare the father's right to the son's right and say the father's right to peace and freedom overrides the son's right to peace and freedom.
No,
are you going to have them like censor themselves just to?
If he has to go to work every day and provide for the kid and to provide shelter, and that's going back to his work, and it's affecting his ability to work, and it's causing, even if he's not discriminating, even if he doesn't care whether his son's homosexual or not, but it could risk him being ostracized or even being fired. Yeah,
well, that's just his friends who are just being assholes in that case.
Yeah, he should just man up to them, for fuck's sake.
But I mean, some people will go after you covertly and try to fire you, and then that would affect his livelihood. So yeah. I mean,
I don't think anyone would fire him because his son was gay.
It depends on what community you're talking about. I mean, every community is different.
Yeah. But we can't really lay that at the fault of the person that's gay, can we?
Yeah, but I mean, you have to sympathize with the father to a certain extent. When the father is saying, "Look, I understand you're gay, like, cool, but just tone it down a little bit, just."
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Sympathizing with the father is fine, but you know he's the one that's working with the assholes.
I feel like there's a joke there.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay there.
Something that's okay.
I left the silence because, you know, I was thinking, oh shit, I just bombed with another fucking one of Simon's jokes gone wrong.
Yeah, but the woman was actually the harshest because the father was like, you know, just kind of like being. But the mother-in-law was basically like, you have to leave, like you can't live here any longer. So it was mostly like the woman who wasn't understanding to the son, where the father was more like, son, you know, I've pleaded with you not to constantly broadcast this on Facebook, and the mother was a lot harsher to the son than the father was. The father was a lot more sympathetic towards the son.
No, another thing is like. What was it? The thing that disturbed me the most was just said, "You are a disgrace." And then, like, the son is rejecting that claim, and then the father said, "I'm sorry, but you are." And earlier in the video, he called the son like a fag and a queer.
It's all this religious language that gets chucked out, isn't it? You're a disgrace, you know. I mean, it's just, you know.
Yes, and it was religiously like motivated to an extent because like the mother is religious herself.
Aha. Yeah, you see, is the mother a female?
I'm not sure if it is like the mother or the aunt. Like most of.
You're missing. Is the mother female?
Yeah, obviously.
Ah, it's part of the feminarchy then.
Wow.
I think we may have done this subject to death, but you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm only guessing.
Yeah, I just like to make
it actual
good.
Fourth wave feminist in the room, Rebecca. I don't know. Maybe you're a fifth wave, fifth column feminist. Fifth column feminist. That's what I call them.
I'm gonna make a generalization here, Simon, and I know you're gonna get me on this, but
I'll block my ears then.
I'll just okay. So whenever you have a situation where like there's like like rules, like let's say like with the church or with any type or just a system of beliefs, don't you agree that men are more likely to be more sympathetic towards like towards those exceptions, like where the son's a homosexual, where like the female, she's brought up in a religious society where the female is like gonna like cross her arms and say no, 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 where the male will be like more likely to be more more understanding to the situation. I find that the males are a lot more sympathetic to the situation if they're in that if they're in a structured belief system where like their livelihood depends on it. The female is a lot more likely to be more discriminative, more intolerant than the male is. Wouldn't you agree?
Probably not. No.
He's like got this real schema going on that all women are evil.
I just think that most men are, if you catch them on their emotionals, most men just understand the trials of like manhood, and they just are more sympathetic towards like the sufferings of others than I'm not saying all men, but like your decent man, your average, good guy male is more likely to be more tolerant to the sufferings of others than I think your average female.
No, well, no, because your average good person female is going to have the same reaction as your average good person male.
So like in psychology and cognitive science, a schema is an organized pattern of thought or behavior that organizes categories of information and relationships among them. So if you have the schema that all women are evil, then when you take in new information, whatever it is, you'll have this imprint that all women are evil. So when you read any article or are introduced to any situation, you'll just have this schema that all women are evil, and it'll seem to reinforce your impression of the world.
Well, Rebecca, when I say, okay, I just think that women are more worldly than men are. I think men are a lot less worldly. When men go out and get money, it's not because like they're intrinsically like materialistic. I'm not saying that they're not materialistic men out there, but for the most part, men make money because they want to give it to the female. I think females are absolutely more materialistic, more worldly, and by that definition, they are more evil. If you want to say that being worldly is evil.
What the fuck? Where is this coming from, dude? Like I was on board with you a few days ago, but now you're just.
Hold on a second, Chris. Give me a chance to explain. There's a biological reason for that. So like, if a woman needs to like reproduce, she needs to have like material things. So she has to have, she has to care more about material things than a man does because she has to take care of the young. And
Cock
so,
being one of them.
Well, what's that?
I'm just saying one of the things she needs is cock.
Well, that too, but she also needs material things. And so, like, that's the reason why why women may be considered more materialistic, and why they may be considered more evil is because they care more about the material, worldly goods.
Evil, dude.
No, when I say evil, I mean like in a Christian sense. The word evil, all right? I'm not Christian myself. I'm just saying if you want to use the word evil, which I don't agree with, but if you want to use the word evil, I think that.
What about lesbians?
Good point. So.
What was that, Nadia?
I keep asking Dionysus about lesbians.
Interesting. What about lesbians?
Okay, so the only thing I know about lesbians is that okay, I recently heard at a strip club that a lot of strippers become lesbians because they sort of discuss it with male behavior. That's the only thing I know about lesbians. All right, is that
I know. Do you know? I heard the same argument for nuns. A lot of nuns become strippers because they're just disenchanted with Jesus.
Oh my God! It's raining women. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Those big titties everywhere.
It's because he's got a really small penis, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
It's funny because.
What about like all these people who don't read? Like, I mean, most trans people are childless. Most LGBT people are too, more generally. Like the LG and the B is childless too.
But Nadia, I'm absolutely speaking of the. I am, and Shaman's right. I do generalize a lot, but I am general, and there's nothing wrong with generalization as long as you know the person who's generalizing understands that there are exceptions to the rule. And obviously, I do understand there are exceptions to the rule. But but when I say that why women may be considered to be more evil, is because they have to be more worldly, because it's in the interest of of bringing offspring into the world, where that's their main focus, or that's in generalization.
All these non-reproducing members of society, what do they work for?
Again, it was.
Patriarchy.
I mean, even childless heterosexual couples.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that when you I'm in that situation right now, childless heterosexual couples. I mean, and right now I think we're like my girlfriend and I, or the girl I live with, I think we're kind of lost. But I think if we were to have a kid, then it would become very worldly. I think it would become where the interest of the child would become. I would do anything I would do anything it took in order to make sure that my child got what it needed to survive, and therefore it would become. I would probably become, in some people's eyes, more evil because I wouldn't care what I did to others in order that my child would survive.
Why does it have to be evil though? Why isn't it just like why can't it be some sort of gray area where it's like caring for the child and maybe doing things that are messed up, but still caring about other people?
It's evil because I absolutely have to hurt somebody else in order to gain profit somewhere else. That's why it's evil.
I think it might be easier just to become gay, Dionysus.
I thought about that, but I tried. I had situations, and I enjoy having sex with females. That's something I truly enjoy.
Maybe you need to try harder. Maybe you just didn't find the right guy.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I know you would love that, Rebecca. I'd be your best friend forever, I'm sure.
One could debate the most masculine thing another man can do is have sex with another man. Greek style. Greek and Roman style. Boiled up, no holds barred. Anything goes.
You're making Nadia smile.
Yeah, all pumped up from the workouts too.
Yeah, get your muscles all bulging and shit.
Rebecca, I've had homosexual experiences. I went to all boys school. All right, like I've had homosexual. I mean, I never committed sodomy, but I've had homosexual experiences, and it's just not for me. But I mean, sometimes I wish I could be gay. I wish I was attracted to other men in that way, but I'm just not.
I'm just very much giggling at the way, because you seem to have this concept that people can become gay and lesbians become lesbians because of something that happens to them and things like that. It's just
No, absolutely no. I know for a
it's
fact.
a silly concept.
No, I know for a fact at the strip club. I've talked to other females who've told me this. At the strip club, female strippers become fucking lesbians because they get so disgusted with men at the strip clubs that they actually become lesbians.
Or do you think they might have been bisexual all along?
No, I think females are.
No, Rebecca, you can't use that argument because then you're just discrediting like.
I think females flip. I think females flip a lot easier than men do.
Are you adding some grey into this, Rebecca?
I know.
No, bisexuality doesn't exist. No, it's just the Lord Jesus Christ.
I have homosexual friends who even say like they don't even understand bisexuals. Like they don't. I have homosexual friends who have been homosexuals all their lives, who have had opportunities to be with females, who say they don't even understand bisexual situations. So it's not even I'm not even mansplaining or heterosexual splaining. Even homosexuals will tell me they don't understand bisexuals.
Yes,
well, wasn't there that recent study?
Is okay, but if you're discriminate to an extent where you're saying a person is disgusting because of that, it's just kind of fucked up.
I never said that. That was disgusting.
Okay, maybe I just put words in your mouth.
Did I say that? I mean, we can go back and check. I don't think I said that.
Okay, let me just test, like, let me test this. Like,
go ahead, Chris.
Dionysus, do you think people who are bisexual are greedy?
Or what?
Are greedy.
Good question.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no
because
experience.
they are attracted to both sexes and want the best of both worlds.
I can't speak. It's beyond my ability to speak.
Okay then.
Interesting. Good question, though. Good question. I think there's certainly a perception of that, Christopher. Don't you think?
I think the greediest of them all are pansexuals, honestly. They just want everything.
Yeah, I want aliens too. Aliens.
I just want to have sex with all the females in the world. Like I'm like a Don Juan. I want to have sex with every female. You know. So.
Yeah,
well,
we kind of guessed that.
That's interesting. That says something quite interesting about your psychology, actually, Dionysus, there.
Well, I don't know if everybody. I could go for quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have like at least 10 at a time, Nadia, to get through them.
Yeah, I actually figured out it takes me like 10 years to get through 1 million men if each one took 10 minutes and ran 24/7.
You've even done the math.
Yeah.
I just want to spread my seed, you know. I just want to have me's run around everywhere.
I know, man. Yeah. Yeah, just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. All right. I know wanting is a good thing, but doing is another entirely.
Yeah, I would
just remember, God created breasts, right? Not just for milk, but also for sperm.
Hey, I need.
And motorboarding.
Hey,
I was thinking about that article.
I must increase my bust. I gotta like get some implants or something.
No, you
or
don't.
I need to
no, you don't.
get you rallying to the cause. Absolutely.
No, you don't.
I think Simon's loving the view, Nadia.
It might help if I actually grew breasts, but. Yeah.
I think they're enough.
Yeah, not really. They kind of don't.
What do you think?
But still. Main thing is, what was it? Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking, you know, like guys like licking the nipples and things actually kind of help a lot. still.
I see.
Yeah, like one guy begging me from behind, and another guy like my nipples.
I'm not sure exactly what you're pointing at, but I've got a terrible echo.
Oh, sorry. I
I
didn't
think
point anything.
she's just sharing her sordid fantasy. You'd need at least 3, though, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. Not really a fantasy. It kind of happened back in July 2013.
It's more like a video.
I actually had like a really weird situation. It was about a year and a half ago where I met this girl at the casino, and like the girl I live with and I, we broke up, but we went to. I got her number and then she called me and I went to her place, and then I didn't realize that she was addicted to painkillers, and then anyway we were having she got me taking some of the painkiller drugs, and but it was just really weird because like once we were on drugs, I think we started to kind of behave in a way that we probably wouldn't have normally behaved, but like it was almost like in a very evolutionary sense that we were behaving in a way that maybe evolution would want us to behave because like our inhibitions had been dropped. I thought that was very interesting.
Let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah. So you kind of have, I mean, do you think that's a responsible way to go about things? If you're looking for this kind of ideal relationship with a woman, I mean, don't you think you may be judging women a little too hard if you're up to that kind of thing?
Well, the thing about it in that situation is that she everything was like really cool and I really liked her a lot. And as she was so cool. She was so like down to doing whatever, and I was down to do whatever she wanted. But what happened was like she kept saying like, tell me when you're about to. I don't mean to be too vulgar, but she kept saying like, tell me when you're about to finish. And she was actually trying to take the condom off and trying to get me to impregnate her. And I didn't realize this, but I didn't know that much about her. But what happened with her is that her kid was taken away from her. And I think she had some really psychological issues where she really wanted to have a kid. She really wanted to take care of a child, and she was just trying to get impregnated as quickly as possible.
I see.
It was really weird. Yeah, the whole situation was weird.
Typical woman, right?
Yeah, man, they do that. Yeah, I say that's why you got to practice, but pull it out, come on the tits. It's quite straightforward.
Are you talking about the pearl necklace?
Yeah, exactly. 100%, guaranteed. Never got a woman pregnant by coming on her tits yet. I can assure you of that. It's quite easy. But use condom. You're right.
She was actually she was lactating from her breast because for some reason she's still after her child.
This is too much information, Dionysus. Really?
Just a bit, yeah.
Oh, come on, Simon. You're just as much with me as I.
Well, I'm just saying we don't. The poor girl. She knows who she is.
Right, Nigel?
Yeah,
was a bad joke, sorry.
Yeah, I was never going to get pregnant.
There's a time to be specific and there's a time to be general.
Indeed.
That was a case in where generality might have helped.
Well, I guess the reason why I was being I won't do it anymore, but the reason why I was being specific, I was just trying to discriminate against, the way that a female thinks and the way that a male thinks. That's all. I wasn't,
Mm.
I
Yeah, I
wasn't
think
trying to be graphic.
you focus a little too much on the differences and not enough on the similarities.
That's what you've been criticizing me for. You've been criticizing me for being too general, and then I'd be specific, and then now I'm being criticized for being too
Well,
specific.
I'm saying there are some times, you know, to be specific, and there are some times to be general. And when you're talking about an individual person and revealing body habits, that's the time to be general. When you're making a philosophical point or a moral point or whatever, that's the time to be more specific and less all people do this of one type. That's what we're getting at. When you get that general, most people that are this color do this or this sex do that. Those are the statements we're trying to avoid.
Actually,
And in
I
some
think like
cases,
I think like
it
Freud.
might be true.
Was it
If it
true?
is true, then you're supposed to have data to back up the point. And if just hearsay is not enough.
But like, didn't like Freud hate the fact that we? And I say it Freud because Rebecca likes to talk about schemas. I think schemas comes from Freud. But I mean, didn't Freud like hate the fact that we use like superfluous language to like describe like bodily functions, whereas like where he actually enjoyed talking about things in a very specific way because he felt that we use too much euphemisms and to try to what's that?
Yeah, I mean that might be the case, but you know, to associate all of that to an individual is a bit disrespectful of an individual that you're relating it to. That's the time when generality helps, right? Bodily functions. That's good to be general in that area. Do you get that? I mean, you wouldn't come on here and tell us all about your girlfriend's bodily functions, would you? Because you'd find that disrespectful to your girlfriend.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, therefore, to speak about somebody else that you know in the same way is also disrespectful.
Well, I don't think I'm using anybody's name, so I don't think it. I think that's or it's okay. Maybe that's where I'm making a mistake at, but I would think that it's okay as long as I'm not using a person's name.
Well, you were describing a single person and an incident you had with that person, and then so that's kind of identifying who it is to that person at least, and then you went on to give us details about their bodily functions.
So if I say, like, if I specify someone urinates, is that being disrespectful? Because they
No,
urinate?
because that's someone. Someone could be anyone. So that's general. So that's good.
But I don't think bodily functions.
If you say, oh, I saw someone urinating the other day, well, you're not specifically pointing to any one individual, are you?
Well, you had no problem in saying David Cameron fucked a pig. I mean, I don't know why you're kind of picking on me now for it. You're doing the same thing.
Because that was published in a book. That's why I said that.
Well, and I'm publishing this. I mean, it seems to be a little bit hypocritical. That's all.
I can't see how you can recognise that it's hypocritical. I mean, you're now equating David Cameron to some girl that you banged. I mean, you don't see that that's different, right? That me talking about David Cameron.
Yeah, it's different because I'm not mentioning the girl's name. I think it's a huge difference.
Right. Okay. I don't know. I can't argue with that, can I? Obviously, this person's name that you didn't mention is a huge political figure that needs to be taken down a peg.
Well, anyway, it's moving on. I was just trying to make the discrimination between like the differences between men and women, but I'm sorry for doing so. I won't do it again.
Please, I'd appreciate that. It's getting a little bit tedious. So we got a new subject. That would be good. Nicholas, for instance. Give us one of your rip-roaring precepts. They're always good for a laugh. No, it's not.
Well, it's George up, what is it? John Paul II's Theology of the Body.
John Paul's Theology of the Body. Is that the bass player in Led Zeppelin? Dun, 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 dun.
It's the Pope.
He's the Pope. I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. No idea. Couldn't really comment on it. How about you, Commando? Have you got a topic? What's been happening?
Yeah, Rainbow Commando, you have a topic for us?
Not really. Not that I can think of. I was sort of enjoying the awkward silence, so.
I see.
And with a full room. Complex
Rambo Commando, Rambo Commando.
Yeah, it's just funny that, like, for me, who talks about and preaches about modesty, that I'm the one now is being criticized for being immodest. I just think
you weren't being criticised for being immodest. Don't get butthurt over it, dude. Really.
Don't what?
Don't get butthurt over it.
That's
it's not a criticism of you personally.
Simon, that's misogynist.
I wasn't criticising you personally. I was pointing out that talking about a particular subject when in relation to a person which you've been describing may not be the most sensible thing in a live hangout. Right? When I talk about David Cameron in a live hangout, I do it deliberately. I mean to offend. Right? If you meant to offend this girl, then fair enough. You were correct to talk the way you did, but I don't see the point of trying to do that.
Actually, Simon, I think I did. I think I was trying to offend him a little bit because I just remember, like, reading, there was a discussion with a female, and she was just talking about how men should be distrustful of females because females will sometimes will go and try to steal go to the condom and try to steal the sperm in order to impregnate themselves. And so,
okay, dude.
Here we go. Dude, come on.
Seriously, like, I'm a fellow misogynist like you, but even I'm like, dude, don't.
Fair enough.
And I got no laughs that I said that I'm a fellow misogynist. What the fuck? That's patriarchy.
No one's laughing because it's not true, right?
Yeah. You would, yeah.
Because I am? Or it's not true?
It's not true. People laugh when it's true, right?
Oh, damn it.
It's funny because it's true, remember? So if we'd all laughed, we would have been going, oh yeah, you are arts. Fuck. Oh, are you ever? Oh my goodness. Oh, I bet you've eaten 2 prostitutes today.
Just one, actually. Fuck, I wish I had one. Or 2. Can't afford any right now. I have no job, damn it.
Christian Hillbilly has been silent for a while.
Let's hope he had a stroke.
No, he's still
I mean,
kicking. He's alive and kicking.
Yeah, the bastard is gonna probably outlive us all.
No, I doubt it.
Well, he's moving in the video, so we know he's there at least.
Maybe at best another 20 years he's gotten them, but I don't.
He'll probably outlive me then.
How old are you?
I think a
I'm-
fruitful lies could outlive you, Simon. You look like you're almost dead. You're a bit jaggered. I think you're a vampire. If you miss one feeding, you're done.
Oh, you're not wrong. No, you're not fucking wrong.
Simon looks like an old man, but still looks healthy.
Yeah, looks can be deceptive, you know.
Yes, so I actually had to go back, and I didn't know what you looked like. I actually had to go back, and eventually I saw a video of you, and I swear, like your picture that you had of you were not what I thought you looked like.
Oh, okay. Is that good or bad?
I think the picture that you had was a little bit more youthful than I thought you were. So.
Oh, okay.
I think you were probably a little bit. I think you probably that picture that you had was probably something that you had when you were a little bit younger. Is that true?
Yeah, the main picture that I have with the sunglasses is taken in 2008 or something, I think.
Okay.
2009. So I think I was about 44 there. So actually, 6 years ago. So yeah, 2009.
Well, I've learned from that. Like, I'm never showing my face again. So.
Only show your face if you're okay with it.
Yeah, exactly, Christopher.
I personally don't give a fuck. My face is out there.
Well, it's because I talk about things sometimes, and I don't want those things to go backtrack to me. So that's the reason why I'm not going to show my face.
Yep, that's fair enough. I can understand that with some of the things you say.
Yeah, they're kind of, I don't mean to be offensive, but kind of stupid.
Can you specify so I can defend myself?
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't agree. I think you've been a bit loose with your words there, Christopher. I don't get the sense that Dionysus is anything other than smart.
Well, he might be misguided, maybe.
There you go. Thank you.
Misguided, but like the way you said stuff, it seems a little like you're uninformed on certain subjects, and I understand I'm uninformed on certain subjects, but you have to understand that when people react to the things that you say, when you say that all women might be evil and generalize that broadly, that can stir a lot of heads, if you catch my drift.
Okay, I do agree with what you're saying, but when the word evil is used, and the way that our current day Christianity uses evil, or not even Christianity, but people who believe in something other than worldly, people tend to associate being worldly as being evil, so concerned with this world alone versus the other world. And so I'm saying that's the reason why women may be considered to be evil, is because they are concerned more so with this world than the other. And I was saying that there's an evolutionary reason for that, but I wasn't saying
I don't know about evolutionary reason. No, there's certainly a Christian reason for that, but it's not evolutionary.
Right, I'm not saying that in an evolutionary sense that they're evil. I'm saying the reason why Christians may consider women evil is because they may be considered to be more worldly.
Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah, and kind of that highlights what we're saying to you is the way you first stated it. You know, just wasn't quite correct, but a small correction, and the point then remains. And it would be nice if you could just make that correction yourself rather than letting other people point it out.
And I'm really working on it, Simon. I really am.
That's cool. Because it comes across a little trolly sometimes. I don't know if you're aware of that. but it really comes across as kind of, I don't know, provocative for no reason other than to be provocative.
You know who my favorite director is, by the way, Simon? Which is so funny. I don't know, are you familiar with Lars von Trier?
I'm not, no.
Okay, please look him up and look at he did this is such what we're talking about almost on a daily basis. But look, Lars von Trier, he did the Antichrist, then he did the Melancholia, and then he did the Nymphomaniac. Look up those three movies together. I'll put a link on the side chat just so you can see to help you out. But he was considered to be the provocateur.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's okay if you can handle the the attacks and the the riposte that you get. That's fine to be a provocateur, because some people have a way of being able to disarm attacks, and they're very good at it. But some people aren't so good; they just dig themselves deeper, and so it's not a good tactic for those people, right? Being provocative is fine if you've got the wit to get out of it. Okay.
Are you suggesting I don't have the wit to get out of it?
Yeah, I think so, because you're a little loose on your language, so people can pin you to the points you're making, which is not the sign of a good provocateur. Right, so if you go through things like Oscar Wilde, for instance, it comes to mind as a very good provocateur. It's a way of using language, like Christopher Hitchens.
Okay. Please look at the link I sent you, Simon. I put in the side chat.
Oh yeah, brilliant, thank you. Yeah, that's great. It's going on my watch list. Oh right, yeah, okay, it's a trailer. Yeah, okay. I'll check that out later. Yeah. No. It's kind of like guys that use, sex in a chat-up line, right? It's kind of putting a bar quite high. Now, some guys are quite comfortable jumping the bar, but if you're not, it's not a good idea to use that as a chat-up line.
Well, I mean, in defense of me, if you look at Lars von Trier, he made that comment about the Nazis. If you look up Lars von Trier interview with Nazis, he says some very uncomfortable and awkward things. But I mean, he's also an alcoholic. But if you understand him personally, you'll understand like he's a very sensitive and a very empathetic and sympathetic individual. But he says some outrageous things, and sometimes like people say these outrageous things because it's a balance between their sympathetic, sensitive side. You see what I'm saying? It's like a battle-in mode that they're in.
I don't know.
I'll send you that link as well when he made those statements.
Well, if he said some stupid things, that doesn't show that he's a provocateur. That's my point.
Well, he's considered to be one of the best directors now in cinema.
Yeah, you can still say stupid things. Cinema directing is not what we call intellectually high grade, right? It's not rocket science.
Yeah, but he has a way of doing movies in a way that I've never seen any other director do movies before. He comes from Are you familiar with the Andrei Tarkovsky?
No, I'm not a movie buff at all, I'm afraid, Dionysus.
Okay. I mean, would you say then, like Wagner then was not high grade then? I mean, that was considered to be movies back then.
What?
You don't think
That's a non sequitur.
you don't think Wagner's drama on theater? You don't think that was like
Sorry. So what music has this other guy written?
I actually need to go somewhere, so I might
Cool.
have to shut
Is it a
things
good
down.
place?
Well, while I'm on the way out and such. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Fair enough.
Everything okay with you? Is it a good place you're going to?
Yeah, the landlord said he might know where to get a job, so I'm going with him.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, good luck.
So, Commando, why do you hit balls?
Balls? Did you say, Art?
Yes.
Wow,
Why do you eat balls?
No, why does Commando hit balls? Hate balls?
Hate balls.
Yes.
I'm with you. Is that a reference to
Ball Earth. Yeah.
homophobia?
No, Ball Earth. He calls it a ball